Into the voluntary reaction. John Reed, Davey Hudson, the Bear, Walker Smith. No Russell tonight. I'm sitting in for Russell. Still going to bring you great post-game coverage here on the voluntary reaction, brought to you by the Griffin Law Firm. Davey, Tennessee. Well, it wasn't always pretty, but the final score is beautiful enough. 34-31. Tennessee survives a fourth quarter collapse and a slow start to be victorious. What was your big takeaway?
Big takeaway was you did not look very sound in a lot of facets of the game, but you were still able to get the win. Now, coming off the bye, you're facing a team that had just fired their coach. They have the so-called interim bump.
And they did get the interim bump. It was very evident that they had that.
But as we continue to talk about, nowadays playing these conference games, it's just, can you just find a way to win? And Tennessee was able to do that today.
Bear, Walker, hope you're having a good night. Bear, what was your big takeaway of Tennessee surviving?
You survive and advance, no doubt about that. I'm going to kind of be holding my breath until we find out exactly what's going on with Deshaun Bishop and David Hobbs. I think Hobbs in his first game back had a big impact on the game, definitely in the second half. Didn't allow Taylor Green to get too comfortable. And then Deshaun Bishop, John, you just hate to see it. The kid's having his career night and an obvious hip drop tackle that, I don't know that it would have made me feel any better about what happened. But, they didn't even throw the flag, and now this kid, he's a local kid. You're rooting for him, and then something like this happens. So, but it's a lot better than if we hadn't gotten those 3 turnovers and we came out of here with a loss.
Yeah, I was fully prepared to come on here and defend Tim Banks' honor, to talk about how the defense bent but didn't break, how they made plays, how they forced 3 turnovers, got a stop on 4th down, and had another one where the ball was on the ground for the taking. But that fourth quarter left a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth, and that's maybe going to be my lasting thoughts on this game, was just a little sloppiness and some injuries. We'll take your phone calls. Let's load them up. 865-966-3435 if you want to weigh in. Shout out to everyone watching over on Twitter. If you can, go ahead and migrate over to YouTube. Just search Fan Run Sports over there. Do that. 865-966-3435. If it started feeling like upset Saturday.
It was for some programs.
And at that point, Tennessee's struggling a little bit, and you're like, oh, no, let's just survive, let's just advance. And that's exactly what we did.
Yeah, once we went up 17, it kind of felt like we had it in hand. But you're right, Tim Banks kind of our defense took their foot off the gas and allowed 2 late touchdowns to make us, sweat it a little bit, have to go get a couple first downs. But I thought it was a really good response after not playing well in the first half to kind of come out and dominate that third quarter and not leave it to where it's a 1-score game for the entire fourth.
Let's go ahead. Let's head straight to the phone lines. Let's start taking your calls. First up, Anthony. Anthony, welcome to the voluntary reaction. The floor is yours.
What's up, Big John? We came out in the second half and put the women and children to bed and went hunting for supper and got a 17-point lead.
Oh, Pig Suey. I got to say, Anthony, I had the Vols minus 5.5 on a live bet, so I was feeling really good about finding something to eat until that last-second touchdown. But, hey, a win is a win, and Tennessee got that win and ended a pretty long streak against Arkansas. It felt good to finally beat the Razorbacks.
It feels good that the third Saturday in October is actually meaningful again.
Maybe we'll be a top 10 matchup. We'll see. Alabama will be there in the top 10. Tennessee, at this point, Davey, I think you said you think they'd move up to 11, barring any other upsets. But, yeah, top 11 matchup where it really matters.
Yeah, you'd still have Texas Tech playing tonight. Oregon's not going to fall far enough to where we would jump them with how that game ultimately ended against Indiana. Indiana looks good, I have to admit. But yeah, you'll move in front of Oh gosh, who is it that I'm already blanking on? You're at least going up 1 right now.
Penn State lost. Is that who you're talking about?
Well, they
Penn
were
State was already behind us. Like who?
Not Oregon.
Who was the upset? Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Yep. And I mean, Florida, Texas A&M. That's a battle right now.
It's going to be a shootout. Anthony, what else
Did
you got
Staley
for me?
come back in?
Say that one more time.
Did Staley come back in?
Bear said he saw him down there on the last possession, right,
Yeah,
Bear?
yeah, he was back on the field when they were.
All right, well, I'll end it with 2 things. One, the common denominator, anytime we have a bad game under Heupel, for the entire time he's been here, has been penalties. We were 10 for 78 tonight. And it's a shame that we never got to see McCoy, Hood, and Gibson play together. See you guys.
Appreciate the phone call. Thanks for getting us started. 865-966-3435 if you want to keep it rolling. We did a live stream watch-along. That was a lot of fun. Thanks for everybody that hung out and watched the game with us on YouTube. And one of the big talking points, Davey, was those damn penalties. And Tennessee, I didn't feel like Tennessee was too sloppy, but when you juxtaposed it up to Arkansas, who had 0 penalties for like 2.5 quarters, it was downright maddening.
Yeah, I know Anthony mentioned it. 10 penalties for 78 yards for Tennessee. Arkansas finished with 1 penalty for 10 yards. There was a hold there, but it was just one of those games. I mean, there was a pass interference on Arkansas very early on, should have been called, very clear. And it's weird. Like I've talked about since Josh Heupel became the head coach of Tennessee, you look back at his programs, whether he's the head coach at UCF, the OC during his time at Missouri, but a thing that is just baked into the Josh Heupel system is there are a lot of penalties. The discipline is not there at times. And I don't understand why, even though I get like you're going to get that from him, but the other team always has very few penalties. It's a situation where I don't know if the refs just don't want to call holding because they don't want to slow down the pace of the game against Tennessee. It's very weird, but you know, I know we can sit there and be armchair quarterback, but we see a lot of this stuff happen live on the screen. But for whatever reason, Tennessee, the next game, Tennessee does not have more penalty yards than their opponent. I feel like it's got to be the first in the Heupel era.
It was especially frustrating because, like I said, it wasn't like you were really sloppy and Arkansas had a couple penalties too. It's just 0, just nothing. And, you know, I think my anger hit the boiling point whenever, you know, Tennessee lines up for that 4th and 1.
Oh, yeah, and they jumped off. They initiated their defensive lineman entered the neutral zone.
And then, like, you know, you thought you had finally gotten a penalty and it was going to be a big first down. It's like, actually, no.
Snap infraction.
That's a snap infraction. Let's go back to the phone lines. Let's keep taking your calls. Let's get Jordan. Jordan, welcome to the Vontae Reaction. The floor is yours.
Hey, fellas. Celebrating a nice win. I'll take it. Not always pretty, but any win in the SEC is a good win. John, you keep saying that our defense is bend but don't break, and to me, a bend but don't break defense is one that, you know, they're kind of stingy. They give up a little bit of yardage here and there, and then they hold you to field goals, or ours seems more volatile than that. It's like we either give up a touchdown or we have a big play where we sack the quarterback, he fumbles, or an interception. So, and we're very volatile. We're not real steady. You know, I think bend but don't break is kind of steady Eddie. You know, you give up some yards here and there, but eventually you hold them to a field goal or hold them to some punts, maybe a touchdown. And that's going to be good enough against a team like Arkansas. But when you're playing a team that's good like Alabama, that doesn't give up those big plays and doesn't give up those big, you know, sack fumbles and all that stuff as often as someone like Arkansas, you're not going to be able to stop them. And they're going to drive downfield on you every possession. So that's the fear that I have. Like, I'm always glad to win, but, you know, I just worry when we play the upper echelon teams in the conference, you know, are we going to be able to have those big plays to get stopped? Because I don't really know many times tonight that we just, you know, bowed our backs and held them and got a stop and forced a punt. It was how many punts did they have? Maybe one, maybe two?
You got the punt at the end of the first half. You know, like for as bad as the offense felt like it played in the first half, you got the punt with 2 minutes left or a minute left where you're like, okay, if we can go down here and get a field goal and get the lead, and then, you're coming out of the ball with a chance to double dip, then all of a sudden you look at the game drastically different. You did finally force a punt, but then you had to punt yourself back after the long Deshaun Bishop run. You had that one in the first half. Then in the third quarter, you forced a fumble. You got the turnover on downs on fourth down, and you forced a 3-and-out punt. So the defense did bow up in the third quarter, but then, the fourth quarter was forced fumble, touchdown. So you forced, two punts?
Yeah, Arkansas had 2. We punted 5 times.
Two punts and a turnover on downs.
And the thing that really got me on, I think it was maybe in the first half, the turnover, and the turnover, we did nothing with it. We immediately went 3 and out and just gave the ball right back to them.
Yeah, you were hoping we'd take more deep shots, especially off of that. I mean, Brazel was very quiet. I think 1 reception, 5 yards. He did drop a touchdown. I think there was no PI on that, but you got to catch that if you're him. I mean, you're wanting to make these big plays. There's talks of him being in the running for the Blitnikoff Award. Like, that's a play a top tier wide receiver makes.
Yeah, it looked like it did look like the defender might have been pulling his, like, in front of his shorts or front of his pants. But in the ball, you get 2 hands on the ball, you got to catch it. The other thing I was going to say about the penalties is, I think that's a symptom of Heupel being, I think I said this last week about him being a bit of a player's coach. He's good rapport, good relationship with the players, which is great. Helps out with recruiting a lot. But a lot of times I've noticed, just in my experience, coaches that are players coaches, they don't really chew tail a lot for jumping off sides or, stupid penalties, undisciplined penalties. And so guys just kind of do it and, there's not really any consequences. Whereas someone like Saban that's, in your hind end, if you do something stupid, can be a deterrent to doing that. And teams are a bit more disciplined with a coach that has that demeanor like Saban. Heupel's got to be who he is. As a coach, you can't try to be someone you're not. So I don't fault him for that. But I think that's just something that you're always going to have to deal with for any coach you have that's like a, friendly players coach kind of guy.
I don't know. I mean, the pushback on your example of Saban, like they didn't get called for holding at all. I mean, like, what'd they go? It was like game after game. It was like some ridiculous number of games where Alabama was the only team in college football that did not, hold at all. But, I mean, you are right that the big killer is, the Spillman one is a killer because he's not playing until the third quarter next week.
I mean, just injuries are going to be a big thing going into this. You look at Alabama, they had 2 guys go into concussion protocol. Now, I know the concussion protocol in college isn't what it is in the NFL, but Jam Miller was not able, their star running back, not able to walk off under his own power. You could tell he was wobbly. They had their freshman wide receiver, Meadows, Ty Hospital Ball Simpson, as I call him, absolutely got his guy killed. So like John and I were talking about that earlier, I would be surprised if they played, but again, it's college football, man, and they're going to try to get them back even if they're not passing concussion protocol.
The only other thing I want to say is that Elander is horrible. I mean, we got to get somebody like, I miss Will Brooks. Crazy to say. I mean, Will Brooks was awesome. You never would have thought before last season that you would be saying that you miss Will Brooks, but he took a horrible angle on that one scramble in the first half.
Yep.
And then in the second half, the touchdown that they gave up, that was on him. He
got out of
dropping
position.
Into coverage right in front of the receiver that caught the touchdown. And as Taylor, or whatever the quarterback's name is, started to roll out, he started running with him. When there's no one over there for him to guard. We already have 2 defenders over there.
He got lost on the touchdown for sure. Jordan, appreciate the phone call, brother. Appreciate you. 865-966-3435. If you're going to try to win a championship, your linebackers and your safeties have to play better. Now, I keep holding out hope for, Jermod McCoy to change things around for the defense in general, because I think if you have 2 shutdown corners with McCoy and Hood, I think that's
a field.
I think it just if you have 2 guys that you can put on the receiver and say, hey, 1-on-1, go for it. And then you got your other 9 guys to handle the middle of the field. I just think that makes such a difference. But, of course, we got to see McCoy on the field first. as far as the bend but don't breaks thing, yeah, I mean, like I think you want the defense to be bend but don't break, and I will say that on drives, if you give up a field goal with this offense, that's supposed to kind of be a win. And I thought that through 3 quarters, you've given up 17 points with as many yards as you had given up. That's a win. That's kind of bend but don't break to me. But yeah, of course, like I do think what he said about the defense just being volatile and relying on havoc, I do think that's true. Like the team is they're going to hit you hard, and so far guys have been putting the ball on the ground. But yeah, you need to maybe be a little bit more.
The freshman, Jordan, he recovered the fumble, the strip fumble there in the third quarter.
Pelotti? I'm saying that
Perlotti.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been a. The thing to me that jumps out at me, and even going back to T-Lander, it's just consistency. There's no consistency to it. T-Lander, he blew up that one. It was during that critical part of the third quarter where we kind of pulled away from him a little bit and got a little bit of breathing room. But he had one of the tackles for loss. But we got the win.
Let's go back to the phone lines. Let's grab Angus. Angus, are you there? The floor is yours.
Well, we got ourselves a win. I got a couple guys here to tell you about how we feel about it. Hank, why don't you let them know?
I'll tell you what, boy. Tim Banks' defense for Tennessee is not right. Bend but not break mentality is not working out. We need propane and propane accessories mentality. Speed kills and gang tackling. What do you think, Boomhauer?
Man, I tell you what, dang old Hank, you ain't wrong, man. They're out there letting them receivers run hog wild, man, and dang old squirrels in traffic like zip, zip, boom, no containment, man. Got to wrap up gang tackle, man, hit them low, hit them fast, pursuit angles, discipline, and all that dang old football IQ stuff, man. Can't be sitting back in the soft zone, letting them the dang church picnic. You got to bring the pain, man. Yeah, that's about how I feel about that right now. So, I mean, I get that. I get what you're saying, that bend but don't break can be a winning mentality when you end 3 quarters with 17 points. But I mean, I look at defenses across the SEC and across the country that are the more aggressive style, taking down passing lanes and passing off receivers with a mentality that shows finesse and, cutting off passing routes and passing angles and things like that. And I just don't see that with the Tim Banks defense right now.
Respectfully, Angus, do you feel that way if Tennessee's up 34-17 at the end of the third quarter? Or if it's 34-17 in the third quarter? Because to me, the offense is what the problem was tonight. I thought the defense, up until the last 2 drives of garbage, or not garbage time, but when you're playing prevent, I thought through 3 quarters the offense was worse than the defense tonight. I thought the offense let the team down.
I respectfully disagree with you, man. I mean, I honestly thought that Arkansas, especially Washington. I mean, Washington's is a good skill player. I thought they were ripping holes in our line, and yeah, I mean, we held them to 17 points at some point in time, but against more complete teams with better talent, they're going to find ways to run up the score. I disagree with you, man. I mean, I thought Joey did a reasonable job. I thought
no. Hold on. You can't say that about the defense going up against better opponents and giving up points and not point out that this Arkansas defense is abysmal. Like, you can't tell me you thought Joey was good whenever we scored 20 points for most of the game and couldn't get first downs. And the defense had to constantly get them off the field with a 20-17 game. When you're going up against Arkansas's defense, who got absolutely shredded by Memphis in the second half and absolutely annihilated by Notre Dame. Come on, be fair.
They're 16th.
Well, maybe it's the Bobby Petrino effect, where
no. Go back and watch Texas A&M. No, go back and watch Texas A&M's offense in 23. Bobby Petrino ain't some offensive savant. That offense, the last one he coordinated in 23 for A&M was trash. When they came in here and could barely score, he was the coordinator. It was trash. Like, let's be fair.
I'm just telling you what I saw, man. I mean, agree to disagree.
Sure.
But
That's what to be fair. That's it.
Bring up Washington stats. What did Washington have against us? Because he was running hog wild against us.
Sure, he did. He had 19 carries, 131 yards, and a touchdown. His numbers look good. My problem isn't that my claim is not that he didn't look good. My claim is I didn't think Tennessee's offense looked very good. They had the first drive of the game, and then they took advantage of the short field after the fumble.
Yeah,
but
Mississippi Stated him like they did to us last week.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the one thing about Arkansas's rushing attack, when it really changed offensively for them was when I think it was Farouk put that big hit.
Oh yeah,
on their other run, put him out of the game. I don't think he came back in
and forced a fumble. I mean, like they were driving to take a lead, and you forced a fumble, and you
gashed us.
You kept it. But
well, okay. My last question is, and it's a really important one, so pay attention to this one. How was my Hank and Boomhauer?
That was pretty good.
Hank was better than Boomhauer, but yes, they were good.
The Hank was so good, I thought it was AI at first. I thought you'd had like a paid for a voice recorder or something. That's how good the Hank was.
Nope, it was all me. All right, thanks, guys. Love you.
Appreciate the phone call. And to me, like that's why I'm so frustrated with the offense, is that the opponent you played tonight, Davey, they were giving the goods up. This wasn't a defense that, was very talented or playing well when it came in here. Now, I will say the interim coach bump probably paid off more for the defense than it did their offense, but still, I think Tennessee didn't rise to the scoring occasion in this game.
Yes, and it's frustrating too because if the fourth quarter doesn't go the way it does, you're feeling a lot better about this game. But it was one of those situations where you thought Tennessee got conservative. They're like, all right, we're just going to play prevent. They're not going to be able to, just run right down the field. And of course, like 2 plays and that next to last drive, they just absolutely took 10 seconds off the clock and it seemed like they were already in the red zone. I guess my question here, John, would be, last year, it wasn't like Arkansas was a good team and that was a game you lost. They're not a good team this year, and at least you found a way to win it. And that last year you still made the playoff. Looking at Mississippi State, Arkansas just squeaking by in these wins, I mean, does it just make you feel more concerned about Tennessee moving forward, or is it just the game we're playing now whenever you just look at the conference as a whole?
No, it's a fair point. It's a fair question. And look, I think ultimately, Davey, the point that we should be taking from this is a ugly win is always going to look better than a good loss. You know what I mean? And you won this game, and it's not the same type of streak per se, but like if you go back and look at the 22 game against Florida, it's going to feel a lot like this one, where you had a 17-point lead, you couldn't close the door, and they're throwing in the end zone in a one-possession game. You felt kind of gross coming out of that game. Now you were happy you beat Florida. You're not going to take those for granted, but like that Florida team wasn't very good, and you had to hold on and survive. And then you learned your lessons. I always say on Talk Sports, it is better to learn lessons and wins than in losses. So like you hope that you clean some things up. You hope you close games better and you move forward. Speaking of moving forward, Bear, let's move forward. Let's go. Let's get the next caller. I believe we got Blake on the line. Blake, welcome to the Voluntary Reaction. The floor is yours.
Hey, fellas, how we doing?
Doing good. Hope you're well.
We're good. Hey, all right. So I think we're 5-1 going in halfway through the season, and we go at Bama, at Kentucky, and then home for Oklahoma the next 3 weeks. Watching that team today, assuming that McCoy maybe gets back at the end, what is your over-under? Is at 1.5? What are you going with? Are you going with 2 wins for the Vols? Are you going 1 and 2? Because I'm kind of all over the place right now because.
And which 3 games? Alabama,
next
Kentucky,
3, Oklahoma.
And Oklahoma. I'm going 2 wins there. I don't know how much of the game you watched Oklahoma just play, but like Tennessee should win that game at home.
We were at the game, so could not.
Yeah. No, Oklahoma looked terrible. Yeah. Mateer threw 3 interceptions. They couldn't score.
He
Texas
threw the ball 38 times with a broken thumb.
Yeah, Texas annihilated them. Like to me, it's 1.5, and I'm taking 2. Or if you want to set it at 1.5, I'll take the over. If you want to set it at 2.5, sure, I'll maybe take the under. But Tennessee's winning 2 games in the next 3. They're beating Kentucky, and I would bet a lot of money they beat Oklahoma. I'll roll the dice against Alabama. Obviously, with the way the defense is played, it's hard to think you're going to go on the road and win that way. But yeah, Tennessee's winning at least 2 of those 3 games.
Did Jam Miller went out of their game?
And it was an ugly concussion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
He got crumpled, and they had to carry him off the field. Like Davey said, this ain't the NFL, and the concussion protocol isn't as rigorous, but that looks like something you can't put him back out there like next week. That's one that might take a choice.
I mean, we did it ourselves last year with Nico.
Yeah, no, and we might do it, or they might do it, I should say, but it was an ugly concussion.
Well, the one thing I will say about that, Bear, is we didn't know Nico was concussed until the second half had started, and we're just like, where is he at with this Jam Miller?
I think we all saw when
I feel like we all kind of assumed once he was out of that first half of the Mississippi State game, we knew what was going on.
Well, no, I was just saying when he got tackled, the back of his head slammed the ground. That's usually when the bad ones happen.
Yeah, but when we're going to halftime there, no one, like on the broadcast, they're not saying like, oh, Nico looks like he's down. I don't know if he's going to be coming back. Like I didn't realize he was out until the second half started. This one, you knew Jam Miller. He did not get up. He went into the fencing posture right away.
Yeah, he kind of went into the fetal position on this.
Anything else?
No, I mean, hopefully we can prove everybody wrong and go into Bama next week and get a dub.
Appreciate the phone call, brother.
That is a rough road to hoe down there. When's the last time we won in Titletown?
I mean, it's been a long time.
03.
Yeah, it's been a long time. And it's so funny because I mean, Alabama, they keep winning and they've won 3 straight ranked games against SEC opponents, but
a good quarterback.
When I watch them, I still don't come out like overly impressed. Missouri could have easily gotten them. I thought if Pavia didn't turn the ball over twice, that Vandy could have beat them. Not saying Tennessee's going to win, but like if Tennessee goes in there and plays well offensively, I think we got a fighting chance. I do think the offense has to play good though. Like the offense has to be a B+ at the very least.
How many points do you think we'd have to score down there?
That's the thing is I don't think Alabama's offense is that explosive. So like I think if you told me right now that Tennessee scored 27,
really,
I'd give us a chance. I wouldn't pick us to win at 27, but like I would say we have a chance at that. Yeah.
You've allowed every opponent you've played in the SEC to score at least 31.
Okay.
So I would think I would take Alabama's offense over Mississippi State's and over Arkansas's.
Sure. Now again with Mississippi State. I would like to see what Mississippi State's offense would have scored if, we didn't give them the ball 3 times inside their 30 for 3 touchdown drives.
Arkansas is one of the best. I mean, what Taylor Green was the number one in one of those metrics in the country. I don't know. They've got a very good offense. Georgia's got a good offense.
Yeah, I would like to see what the Arkansas game looks like if Tennessee wasn't up 17 points in the fourth quarter, because in the third quarter you cut them off. You cut the water out. You got the stops. You forced the turnovers you needed.
We're wearing their O-line out.
Yeah, when the game was in need, or when the game was in doubt, when you needed to do it. So, in 27, I think you'd have a chance. But to be comfortable, Bear, I'd probably say you need to score at least 31, 34 to have a realistic shot. But
I wonder what's to be in
favorable position
for the acceptable number, or the number to expect.
The team total,
defense,
the betting number.
Their offense, too, is the number I can't figure out. Right
9.5 was the spread. 9.5 was the spread, and I want to say Barrett was 36-26. I want to say that's what the expected number was when we were talking about it.
It's right around what we've been given.
Yep. No, I mean that's fair. Let's grab Jesse. Jesse's up next. What's up, Jesse? The floor is yours.
Big John, I agree with you tonight about. I think it was a little bit of a black eye on the offense. I think the defense had some issues. I will say, if we have another game where Tim Banks is in the press box doing his game day duties, he needs to be fired on the spot. I'm just going to chalk up some sunshine pumping, whatever that communication error with Joey Swagular knocking out their comms unit right there before half. Like that was a blessing in disguise. Fun fact, I'm just looking at it now. We're averaging 38, 39 points in our 3 SEC games. I think if you gave me that right now, I think that beats Bama by 10 points next week. Tonight was the first time all season where it felt like our offense was like not fully into it. Right after, I think it was on that drive after the first takeaway we had on the fumble, where Matthews beat his guy. It just looked like he wasn't expecting the ball to come his way, and it was an easy catch walking the end zone. Like I feel like it was one of those where all the talk on defense today is going to overshadow some of the offensive stuff. But I mean, if you asked me 5 hours ago, it's like, yeah, I feel good about Tennessee keeping the 40-point scoring streak going on offense against this team. And it was, that was odd to me.
We should have scored more points. We should have kept that streak going. We should have scored more points. And to me, like that was very frustrating for the entire game. Now, I will say the defense did frustrate me in the fourth quarter. Josh Heupel's conservative nature in the fourth quarter irked me, because even when we got the ball back, up 10, the one play action you ran was wide open, and you were able to get, 25 yards or 20 yards from Kitzelman. And I just thought that would have been good against Georgia. I thought that would have been good again, not even giving them the ball back with a chance to go down and make it a one-score game. That was frustrating.
Yeah, speaking of Georgia, that Georgia loss is going to haunt us, because I think they've come back to the field quite a bit. And I think when this is all over at the end of the year, that's going to be the one that's going to really bit us.
Yep, should have won that game.
I don't know, Bear. I mean, I'm watching some of these scores right now. I think it's very possible that, I've already conceded that A&M's probably going to have the best record in the SEC this year. And I think you're just going to have a whole host of 1 and 2 loss teams fighting for that second spot to Atlanta. Not that it really matters, because the playoff's the goal. But I wouldn't be shocked. I'm sort of with you, John. I would not be shocked if we win next week. Now, obviously, it's somewhere we haven't won since Casey Iceman Clausen hit CJ Payton on 4th and 19. But this isn't. I mean, just remember, what was it? 2 years ago, Josh Heupel took Joe Milton into halftime in Tuscaloosa with a 13-point lead,
20-7, and it probably should have been more like 24-7 or 27-7. You left some points out there.
We missed a bunch of chances.
Well, remember that opening touchdown in the second half. I forget who it was. I think it was James Pierce, was blatantly held right in front of the ref and nothing, and Milroe hits it deep. But it's
and then you called the fair catch coming out on the next one and had to start your drive on the 3-yard line. So it was. You had a lot of errors in that second half. You had a lot of errors in the second half. That was a very winnable game.
Yeah, and I know you got other callers lined up, but it's just I don't know what it is this year. It's I'm hoping something happens this week where Heupel just gets pissed off or gets enough of the downing talk on it. But it's just I hope he just comes out and, it's Kalen DeBoer. It's not, this isn't your traditional Alabama. And so it's just go out there and act like you're playing against Nick Saban, because it's he's got his quarterback. We're 5 years into this. I would gladly feel confident that our offense is not going to have issues next week. And, whatever, and it'll drag along the defense, but go Vols. I'm glad it got covered. Big John, we could have used you at halftime with Russ, because there was some serious pearl clutching going on, and man, you've been bouncing this show after the game very well so far. So y'all have a good night.
Hey,
go Vols.
Appreciate the phone call, brother. 865-966-3435 if you want to weigh in. Hey, if you're watching on Twitter, we do appreciate you. However, we're trying to grow this YouTube. YouTube is the future. YouTube is monetized. We can make some money over there. Word to the money monster. Go to YouTube. Pull up Fan Run TV, Fan Run Sports. Switch over if you want to watch us on video, because we're cutting the Twitter off. We do appreciate you, but we're trying to grow that. So go over there, chat, interact with us, hit that like button, subscribe. We're trying to grow it. As we do that, let's go to the next caller. Let's grab Ashley Schaefer, Vol fan. What's up, Ashley Schaefer, Vol fan? How are you, brother?
I'm doing pretty good, guys. melting down at halftime. Obviously, we got the dub, so that's a nice feeling.
Did you make it onto the halftime chat with Russ?
I did. I think Russ thought I was talking about him when I said shut the fuck up about the playoffs. I just meant in general, but I think Russ took offense to it. But I'll apologize to him on Monday's overreaction show.
Wouldn't be the first time you said anything that pissed somebody off.
That's fair.
That's pretty good. Are you still mad, or are you good now?
I'm not mad, but like I found myself almost in a place of like both the Mississippi State game and the Arkansas game. I was prepared to lose both of them, and I'm just sitting there embarrassed watching the defense play. And look, John, I agree with you. I thought the offense was horrible today as well, but like the defense from the get-go, I can watch it on the screen in real time as the DB sit 12 yards off the line of scrimmage, and we just let them take a 5, 6, 7 yard out and turn it into a first down every play. It's infuriating. And like, do you guys remember the touchdown in the fourth quarter? We got a DB who's heading out into the flat to play his zone while a guy stands right next to him wide open in the end zone. It's like, are you even looking at the wide receiver? Like,
he was trying to storm across the field and go get the quarterback on like 3rd and 10 when the quarterback, like in a zone defense where the quarterback wasn't going to be able to scramble. You just have to hold your position there. And he got completely lost. It was a terrible fourth quarter for the defense. I just want to make that clear. I've been okay about the defense for most of the game, but the fourth quarter was brutal.
I mean, John, we gave up 100 yards rushing in like the first 7 minutes of this game. Like, it's insane.
Yeah. So here we did the live stream. We were watching along, and we all tried to, kind of be positive and just say, you know what, that's a scripted drive. You let Petrino, he's been waiting for this moment for years, scripted drive. And 10 points after that over the next, 35 minutes or so. So I do think they did a pretty good job of bottling them up. After that, I thought that was okay.
The good news is I'm glad you watched that Oklahoma game today like I did. Oklahoma's, man, they made a mistake playing John Mateer today. They're terrible.
They suck.
Man, it's like, listen, that was bad. I don't know how much of that is them trying to rush him back. But I'll throw this out there right now. After today, every SEC team will have played at least three SEC games. How many SEC teams do you think are undefeated in conference play out of 16?
2, 3.
1.
There are 3. And technically,
Ole Miss, A&M, and Bama.
Yes.
Ole Miss, Bama, and A&M.
And so it's just like,
and Ole Miss struggled. I don't know if you watched any of that game.
Damn near got beat by that.
They struggled by Washington State, and Washington State is terrible,
horrible.
So I'm not even sure Ole Miss is any good.
Bama, though.
Two of their 3.
Tell me how we beat Bama.
Well, that's the thing. It's just it is such a week by week sport now.
How do you beat Bama? You go down there,
buddy,
and you look. It's the cliche, Ashley, but like you don't go in there and you don't turn the ball over, because I think if Pavia doesn't fumble when they're up 7-0 and they're driving to go up 10 or 14, and I think if he doesn't throw that interception at the end of the third quarter, I think Vanderbilt could have won that game.
Yeah. I mean, we had 0 turnovers today. They had 4. That was the difference.
Here's the other thing about Bama. They are not good against the run. I don't know why everybody keeps going away from it. Mizzou got away from it today, and they ended up losing the game. But that's why I think the Bishop injury, which is going to play such a key role next week. But I feel like we can run the ball on them and then hit the play action stuff off of it.
If anybody sees
does the Bishop injury help us?
Say that one more time, Ashley. Sorry.
I said, Bear, does the Bishop injury actually help us by giving Star Thomas more touches?
No, absolutely not. I mean, the guy in an SEC game was cruising. He had his career high. It was like, I think he had it was either 11 or 12 carries for 140-something yards. No, he was averaging like 10-plus yards a carry. It's horrible for us.
Listen, I think as far as electric goes, Star Thomas is your best player. But as far as the running back getting to the second level, that's where Bishop excels. And I think that's something you're going to need against Alabama.
Yeah, Bishop might not get to the third level, but he's going to reel off a handful of 10, 15, 20-yard runs.
He's a drive maker, man.
And even then, I think Bishop clearly better than Peyton Lewis. So even if you get a little bit more Star Thomas, I think Peyton Lewis instead of Bishop is a downgrade.
Well, yeah,
John, if you had to
put, hold on, Ashley, especially in pass play, because that's what got Peyton Lewis. Kind of set him back. Go ahead, Ashley.
John, if you had to put your life on it, does Tennessee make the playoffs this year?
If I had to put my life on it, well, right now, coming into the game, we were plus 250. We were plus 300 to win 10 games. So, Do I get to win 3 lives if they do make it? Because the odds would say no. But if you had to pick the third loss, Ashley, let me flip it around on you. Who are you betting your life on is the third loss for Tennessee? Let's just say Alabama beats Tennessee next week in Tuscaloosa, and Tennessee needs a third loss to be eliminated. Who gives them the third loss?
It's tough, but I mean, it's probably Oklahoma or Vandy, right?
Florida probably would be my top option right now, just because I feel like they're playing with a little bit of life now. Like, I don't think Vandy's going to have the depth to be there, in game 12, ready to go.
Florida and Gainesville's not going to be any easier than probably Tuscaloosa.
Yeah,
I don't know,
I could buy Florida
there.
I just think if Florida's 5-5 when we go in there, I think that's a bit different game than we've usually had to play them in. I think their fans are front runners, and I think it'd get really ugly around there. So, like, A&M, I'm rooting for them to win that game and just kind of continue Florida. Like, I want to cut Florida's head off before they try to get this momentum. And, hey, we beat Texas. Right. Wow, now we beat A&M. Hey, we're good again. Nope, fuck that. Let's cut the head off. Like, let's let them die and go back through turmoil. But I don't see Vandy beating Tennessee. I don't see Kentucky beating Tennessee.
You got a bye game in there.
I don't see us losing to this Oklahoma team at home. So, beat Florida and you make the playoffs. So
we basically got to go 2-1 in the 3 big ones: Florida, Oklahoma.
Yep, Florida, Oklahoma, and Bama. You got to go 2-1. And
my dumbass will be in Gainesville too for it.
Oof, yeah. I feel like a moron, Ashley, but I'm making my plans for Alabama next weekend. So
I do it. I do it every year. Like, why do I keep doing this to myself?
Let's link up. Let's get a drink. Appreciate the phone call, brother.
All right, man.
865-966-3435. Yeah, if you're in Tuscaloosa this weekend, holler at us. Let's get together. Phone lines wide open, Bear.
Yes, they are.
There are kids that weren't born that can drink now that weren't born for Tennessee's last win in Tuscaloosa.
Oh, well, isn't that special? Thank you, Davey. I didn't realize Alabama had kicked their ass for most of my life. Thank you for putting it in those terms.
We've been close a couple of times. The Mount Cody incident, whatever happened there.
We've really only been close twice, Bear. At least since Dooley on. Mount Cody, yeah. We had the one game in 2015 where you had the fourth quarter lead, and then you had the lead last year. I feel like those were the only 3 times you're actually close, but
I mean, we haven't beaten Bama on the road in my conscious memory. I literally have no idea what it would look like for us to win that game on the road. It's
indescribable, the joy, just the sublime happiness that will come over a Tennessee fan when it happens. It's the greatest night of your life to beat them down there in front of 100,000 Gumps.
I mean, it hasn't happened, Walker, during my adult life.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, I know you said you don't even remember it, but I don't remember enough to appreciate it. I was 13, and there wasn't some big long drought, so it wasn't extra special or anything. Alabama wasn't Alabama at that point. We're here courtesy of the Griffin Law Firm. VFL Marshall Griffin and his team of experienced military attorneys are committed to giving a voice to all active duty reserve members and veterans who face criminal allegations by the government. Whether you have been accused of a serious offense like fraud, assault, or DUI, or you're facing administrative separation or having to defend your security clearance or license against adverse action, the Griffin Law Firm is ready to represent you through that challenge. No matter the circumstances, if you're in trouble, they want to help. Let VFL Marshall Griffin and his team of experienced military attorneys make your problem their problem. For a free consultation, call them at 888-707-4282 or visit them online at griffinlawdefense.com. griffinlawdefense.com. Your mission is their mission. Remain silent. Request counsel. Call Griffin Law Firm.
Well, they're having a day with on the message boards with Kirby right now. I want to fire him.
They're down 10-0.
Auburn's looking good too. That's what I've kind of I've had that game on over here, just kind of keeping an eye on it, and that's why it's just I got to let it go, John. But I'm just getting sicker and sicker over that. We should have made that fucking field goal.
Should have made the field goal. Gunnar Stockton shouldn't have had the horseshoe up his ass on that 4th down throw. I mean, it's the best throw of his life. I mean, yeah, it sucks.
It's always something.
It's always something. It's always something. Let's go back to the phone lines. Let's grab Roberto. Roberto, welcome to the voluntary reaction. The floor is yours.
Johnny and the boys. Kind of fun. Like old times, John.
Like old times.
Thanks for being there, guys. I mean, we rushed for 265 yards tonight. 265 yards, and it was a 3-point game. And tonight, I tried to stay as sober as possible to really soak it in. Josh Heupel might just be an elite play caller. He might just, I don't know, but I think he might be. But I'll tell you what he's not. He might be the worst in-the-game manager I've ever seen at Tennessee. And we've had Derek Dooley and Butch Jones on this campus, and Skullcan. He's bad at the end of games. Bad.
He took his foot off the gas again.
Every time. We have an offense. We have a freaking Ferrari, and he's driving it in first.
He used to not be that way, though. 21 and
Last
22,
year,
he wasn't that way.
Yeah, last year killed him for that. He said, I can make the playoffs playing conservative, so I'm going to do it. He loves running the ball.
I'm
He's a
telling you,
conservative
man.
football coach.
I mean, seriously, in 22, he was doing to people like,
oh, yeah.
Your mom would be, opposing coach's mom would be there watching him. He'd still hang 60 on you.
I would say,
I know.
Roberto, this is like the first year I've really kind of been frustrated with how he's calling it. Like I'm agreeing with Bear in the fact that like 22, it felt like you were really on top of it. Like always that go for the throat. Last year, I get why you had to pull back, play a different style. And I mean,
you didn't have Joey at quarterback last year. You do this year. It's like he thinks he's got Nico back there.
I think he's got a quarterback that he doesn't fully trust. Like I think in the back of his mind, he knows Joey's one wild hair away. Yeah, he's one wild hair away from throwing an interception. He almost made a bad mistake this.
Oh, the one where he rolled out to the left and bounced it in front of the defender.
But I mean, going back to Georgia, there was one situation where it was a read option, and I mean, we had the guy open. He should have just thrown the ball, and Joey decided to hand it off there. So it's like,
I mean, there was that one play at the end of the game where I heard John yelling about it out in the lobby that, he had the wrong read. He should have kept it. He ran for 10 yards.
We could have gotten the first down.
Yep. There's multiple times where if he keeps it, and then you see it when you're up 3, he keeps it, and boom, right up the middle, 20 yards.
100%. But everybody around me was saying at the game, and again, I agree with you. If he keeps it the first down, and then he keeps it, gets 37 yards, falls on the football, and you think your freaking season's over.
Yep.
Because you think he just separated his damn shoulder.
Yep. Well,
So,
I think if you're up
what do we
10,
want
you
here?
get the first down, you can slide. Like you can go down a little bit. There he was.
According to Sam
He doesn't know how
Rothman
to
on
slide.
Twitter,
He
it
doesn't
was,
know how to slide,
I think it was a little bit of knocking the wind out of him, but apparently his face got mashed into the grass he had.
Really?
Yeah.
So he was holding his
The
ribs.
officials were letting them take liberties on us too. I am one of those guys that says, let's look at the officiating a little bit, because, you don't want to be blaming the officials guy. That was the worst officiated first half of football I've ever seen in my life. Arkansas, who essentially has a lame duck walking dead coach, an entire defensive staff that's never coached a game together. They play perfect, flawless, penalty-free football the first 3 quarters of that football game. Is that possible?
Well, no, I mean, there were some blown calls. We all saw them. I mean, Tennessee didn't do
Yeah.
themselves
Did you catch it
favors
right
there.
before halftime when they kicked our lineman in the rib cage? They just punted him straight in the rib cage and they didn't call anything right
So-
in front of the damn official.
Here's what I would like to see, Roberto, and we're not going to get it. And this is where I do have a bone to pick with Josh Heupel. At a certain point, there's situations where you're going to punt, and you're already kind of in range where it's like, I mean, like, if you were watching the Oregon-Indiana game today, there was a blown pass interference call where it was clear the Oregon cornerback pulled down the Indiana wide receiver. Kurt Signetti went off knowing
Lost his mind.
I am getting a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, but that ref is going to know he fucking sucks, and he is going to hear it from me until I have to be pulled back, and the off chance I get a second personal foul penalty.
Josh
Heupel will never do
needs to
anything
get
like
a $25,000 fine tonight.
Yeah, I was gonna say Heupel on the false start one. You could see him say, "Oh, that's fucking bullshit," or "You got to be fucking kidding me."
Fuck out of
You
here.
can say that, but there's a
But
difference
he needs
between
to do it
going
in a-
and getting a penalty. Like, you go until they throw the penalty.
Signetti looked like he wanted to kill the ref, and Josh is more like, go to hell type of thing.
Yeah,
You're
it's-
right about that. Signetti was like, "Hey, I'm going to kill you and your entire bloodline."
And that game was different for Indiana after that call. Like they went on, and it's like I would think the team would rally behind Josh in a way to where you have that that fire and that like, hey, these refs are out to screw us. Our head coach sees it. I'm going to follow his lead. And you just don't get that. And I get like you have certain mentalities. There's certain personalities that you are a little bit more calm and collected at times. But man, like whenever some of this stuff becomes so egregious and I'm just punting the ball away anyway. Cause I want to say after that, we punted it into the end zone and it was just a touchback.
We did.
So it's
You're
like,
correct.
What's 15 yards going to do there?
Nothing. And I'm to the point where I'm starting to get mad at Heupel because is he afraid of a $25,000 fine for flat out calling him out in a presser? This is the week to do it because you're not going to get a damn call anyways in Tuscaloosa. It ain't happening. Take your $25,000 fine and draw somebody's attention to the fact that we get a non-whistle. Last time I checked, come this Monday, we're probably going to be a top 10 team. We were one of 3 legit SEC teams in the playoff last year, and we don't get I'm trying not to say it, we don't get a freaking whistle. At home, and it's his, and I'm over it.
Well,
that is why I'm mad at Heupel. Other than that, congrats on the win, I guess. Guys, have a great night, okay? Seriously.
Hey, appreciate the phone call,
the other part of the problem with us that makes it, we are so blatant when we have our blockhead moments as a football team that, just the targeting. What the hell are you doing, man? You can't do that.
No,
Number one, the guy slid. It was late.
It was dumb.
That's
There's 18 high-definition cameras trained on you.
There is that undisciplined nature there. But when you look at, we'll say, holding penalties, as far as our guys trying to draw a holding penalty, that's been a struggle. And we can see it on TV, but you don't get them. We technically had 2 today. One was on 4th down, so they ultimately declined it whenever we got the stop there. And then the other one was the only other penalty they had. But there were multiple times.
I think we got another one too, David, that we got a sack on and we declined it.
Okay.
So I think at the end of the 3rd quarter, beginning of the 4th, we did draw 3, like in a bang, 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 and only one of them ended up getting accepted. But they did finally give us some calls, and that was a time our defensive line actually started wrecking shop.
But it's got to be obvious. And I'm trying to think of who is the coach in college football that's laid back that actually has the benefit with the refs. Whenever I think of guys, it's like, oh man, they always get the call. It's always
Freeman
the coaches.
At Notre Dame is one.
That is a good one, but it's Notre Dame. So
they're regal.
The Catholic money has deep pockets, Barry. You know that very well.
Step.
So they're able to slip that into the refs' pockets. But let's just look at the SEC. I mean, it's the fire and brimstone guys that are getting the calls week after week.
This feels, Ken, it's been a while since I've heard the Rick Barnes needs to get a technical.
Yeah,
this is kind of the Rick Barnes. Stand up, Rick Barnes. Yell at the ref. Come on, Rick. Let him have it.
And
get teed up.
If you ask anybody, Rick Barnes works the refs as good as anybody in the country.
It's been a while since I've heard that. But, look, Cignetti, like I said, he did look like he wanted to kill that official. Josh was fired up by his standards, but he probably stopped short of the disrespect.
I do find what Josh does, it's incredibly funny to me. The mannerisms and you gotta be fucking kidding me. Yeah. It's just really easy to read his lips when you know exactly what he's saying.
But as a fan, I don't care about that letter that's going to come from Greg Sankey on Monday being like, hey, we missed this one. Sorry.
I will say it's not like Heupel needs necessarily a boost with the fan base. I think his approval rating still pretty high. We still win a lot of games, but if he just had one good old-fashioned meltdown, it would take him to legend status, folk hero status, and everyone would be, have his back. I think that's one of the best things Tony Vitello ever really did at the beginning of his
thing.
Yeah,
that stuff.
When he just went crazy and he gets suspended, he's out there selling lemonade. He had folk hero status at that point and hadn't won anything big, but it's like, hey, you're one of us. You're going to fight for us. And Davey might be onto something a little bit there with Heupel, but
you got to be strategic of when you pull that play. But tonight was a good opportunity whenever it was 4th and we just had a touchback right after. Because, listen, man, I watched the replay. They were in the neutral zone before the snap infraction happened.
Walker, you got a stat for us?
Yeah, I'm just going through the games, and we had another night tonight where we didn't allow a sack. We had 5 sacks tonight and allowed 0. Through 6 games this season, Tennessee has 26 sacks and has only allowed 4 of them.
I mean, we get after it. And I was really impressed with how much better our defensive line, Hobbs and Moy being back was I thought a huge boost.
Yeah, we won't get an update on Hobbs, but that was unfortunate seeing him going down, holding the foot and ankle after coming back from a foot and ankle issue. But
I mean, I'll be stunned if we see Bishop next weekend.
It's just funny, Walker, that stat, and it's a great stat. But like I think if you watched most of that game, if you watched the other 3 quarters, or really like the other 50 minutes of the game outside of that when Tennessee went on the Avalanche, people would have been complaining that the defensive line wasn't getting any pressure. That like Taylor Green was able to,
which just isn't true.
Yeah, but that's what people would have thought, because like, hey, they're running the ball up the middle. Hey, he's scrambling. Hey, you can't sack him.
It's the same thing we were talking about on the afternoon. We've talked about it numerous times. Like, people will call in wanting to drink Willie Martinez's blood, and all the guys that he develops defensive backs and puts them in the NFL.
Hey, if you want to bitch about Tim Banks, I'll hear you if you're talking about safety play or like last year's game plan against Ohio State or Georgia. Like, I'll hear you there, brother. But like, we ain't going to come after Willie and his defensive backs when he's developed 2 transfers into first-round picks. Like, Colton Hood wasn't a first-round pick when he got here. He was a bench player at Colorado.
And he's got, and I realize he's gotten burnt, but everybody's keep in mind that Redmond is a green-ass freshman.
Yeah.
And they are somehow getting by with having him on the field in SEC games. Now, I do think the one thing, it's not ideal to have Colton Hood just basically following a guy like he did tonight with Omega Blake.
Well, you hope Jermod McCoy. You hope Jermod McCoy can get back on the field and help you there.
I don't know. Do you think he's coming back?
We'll dive into it here in a little bit. 865-966-3435, because that is the big question, Bear. I don't expect him to be here for the Alabama game. I don't expect him to be playing. And I said this week on Talk Sports, like I'm at the point now, once we got past this game, of like, let me know when he's playing. Like, until he's playing, I'm going to assume he's not playing. Let me know when he's on the field.
Yeah.
Because it was a perfect spot coming off a bye week, getting the rust off before Alabama. Wasn't out there. So let me know when he's practicing, and then let me know when he plays. Sharp to the Moon says, our defense is suck but don't swallow.
That's
I guess
uncalled for.
I guess that's one way to be bend but don't break,
That's
suck
aggressive.
but don't swallow.
It's a little aggressive.
First time I've heard that one.
Yeah.
It's good. It's clever.
It's
I like
good
it.
stuff, though.
Yeah. I guess that's one way to be bend but don't break. Just
Geraldo's asking in the text box, is Ty Simpson a runner? I don't know about a runner, but he's very athletic, and I mean, he could absolutely hurt us if he gets loose. He's a scrambler.
he's one of those annoying scramblers that's there to get 7 yards on 3rd and 6.
Yeah, like a Gunnar Stockton, or what's the kid that was like the drunk Georgia quarterback?
Stetson Bennett.
Back in the day.
Put some respect on the 2-time national champion.
But he killed us. He killed us in 22. He raced to the pylon. I mean, no, Ty Simpson's not Taylon Green. He doesn't have that, but.
I saw somebody tweet the other day that Stetson Bennett was going to retire to go back to Georgia and finish his degree, which is funny whenever you think that the guy was there for 7 years, it seems like.
Didn't have a damn degree.
He really didn't get a degree?
Didn't know. They say he left and still didn't have his degree. It's what they say.
I mean, if you're there for like 6 or 7 years, you figure you just.
One would think, Bear. One would think.
Now, look, I think Roberto's being a little dramatic when he says Josh Heupel is the worst, late game manager we've had here.
Can't go there at all.
I can't get that far with you, but like I do think, Davey, I've had a problem with a lot of what Heupel's done this season in the fourth quarter. It hasn't been good. I thought he pushed the wrong buttons against Georgia. I thought he pushed the wrong buttons against Mississippi State. I thought he pushed the wrong buttons tonight. 0 for 3 as far as I'm concerned. Now, with that being said, hey, if Max Gilbert makes his field goal against Georgia, we look at it differently.
We need to give a shout out
Yeah.
to Max Gilbert tonight.
We didn't go 3-0. We went 2-1. We lost to Georgia.
Which we shouldn't have. He did that. I mean, it ended up being the difference in the game. That 50-yarder he hit, nailed it.
Drilled it.
2 for 2.
So what again makes it so maddening that he
It's a lot of pressure, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure.
That whole scenario, that whole between the false start, all that would be one thing I'd like to ask Heupel. If you go back and change anything about that game would be, should you have just called the timeout and settled everybody, including the kicker, down? That, and we noticed because Russell and Walker and I were watching down here, everybody was talking, get the fuck away from the kicker. You don't talk to the kicker.
I'd never seen a camera more in a kicker's face than they had poor Max Gilbert. Like, for the last, 5 minutes, they just had a camera in his face.
It was so bad.
I don't think they could have called timeout and settled him down, Bear. I don't think there was anything that was going to make him make that kick other than, getting it 15 yards closer.
Yeah.
He did have the Rashay Caldwell
Not
look on his face. His eyes were like the size of dinner plates. And
look, I don't know if we would have made the kick against Alabama in 22 if it didn't get tipped. That thing might have been going 7 yards to the left. God,
true.
Bloodbath McGrath.
Yeah, big God intervened there and got you a make there. I just think there's a lot of pressure in that stadium when you have to go kick a game winner.
Yeah, it's a tough place to play for our guys with that much pressure too. It's a lot of pressure on that type of guy.
Chad writes in, we won, but man, all I noticed was bad play after bad play and horrible offensive play calling. Team needs work. Coaches need more work. Bear, along those lines, I'm going to put your professor hat on. Put your glasses on. Get your ruler.
He's more of a doctor.
1 to 100. What are you grading the team's overall performance tonight? What are you giving it?
An 85, a solid B.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, it's an SEC win against a really good offense. I mean, their defense is ass, but it's October. Hadn't beaten them in 4 tries. Yeah, I give us a B.
Walker?
I'd go closer to a B minus. Just kind of 2 things stood out. You can't go 2 for 9 on third down and get a good grade.
Did Walker not hear me say that it was 1 to 100? And it gives me a B minus. 1 to 100, Walker.
I'm sorry. I was just listening to Bear. I'll go
1 to 100.
82.
Okay.
85 is a B minus.
No, 85 is, well.
The scale continues to change.
Yeah, 85 is a pretty solid B. But yeah, in high school, actually, or in elementary school, it was a B minus where I was from, but then it kind of shifted. Davey, what about you?
We passed. So I guess based off the grading scale I'm used to, the C in this situation I would put it around a 78.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you got the win, which is great, but it's not like I looked at this team and I was like, yeah, we just dominated today. We did something that I wasn't expecting. I thought it was a 10.5-point line going into it and you won by a field goal. You didn't perform well according to Vegas' standards, and for what I expected, they didn't blow me away either.
Let us know in the chat. Give us your scores. Give us your scores in the chats. What are you grading this performance on? Don't pull a Walker and give me a letter. I want a number, please. Give me a number.
I mean, it's that third down stat that just sticks out to me. 2 for 9 is unacceptable at any conference game. And also, we say, we got 3 turnovers. Yeah, we only got 7 points off 3 turnovers. That number is way too low. You got to capitalize on those opportunities.
The worst part about it, as far as I was concerned, Walker, the conversions, the percentage of you converting the third downs was bad. But late in the game, I don't know if it was the last third down or the one before, they popped up the stat that said your average distance to get the first down on third down was 11.2 yards. A lot of those third downs were deep, long, hard to get, obviously low percentage.
Yeah, we ended the game we averaged 9.2 yards on goal to go or third down at distance. They had 9.7. We were doing the same thing to them, except they converted over 50% of their third downs. It's third down offense and defense that's been killing us. It killed us against Mississippi State. Obviously, we got pressure to Taylon Green, but pressure isn't enough with a guy like that. He can just move out of the pocket, and then we were playing man all night, and he could run. And that's how that leads to 7 for 13 on third downs for Arkansas.
Has it been this way all year? With the negativity after wins, was the Mississippi State game negative? Because I do think, Bear, I side closer to you of hey, a win's a win. There's a very realistic reality where we win that game by 10 points. We pick up,
yes, sir.
We pick up the first down up 10. We kind of run that clock out. So that's a very realistic scenario. The sliding glass was there. I think people are being a little bit too hard on this team after a win.
Yeah, this is not like losing to like Vanderbilt most years or Kentucky. I mean, Arkansas is a perennial. I mean, I realize
Arkansas sucks, Bear. I'm not going to go that far, but I just think that it was a 17-point game in the fourth quarter. I
took our foot off the gas and let him back in the game. But I mean, at the end of the day, they still are a Southeastern Conference program.
But they also didn't have the ball, the chance to beat you in the fourth quarter, right? Like they never got the ball back down 3.
Well, another part of this too is the program has made it to a level where you're going to even have those frustrations with some of the wins, which that is a testament to Josh Heupel and what he's done during his time here. But I mean, have you, like, looking back at all 3 SEC games so far this season, have you ever just thought like, yeah, we really played up to the standard? Like there wasn't a lot more on the table where you're just like, yeah, this team can definitely improve. And there's another level we've not hit yet.
I think that's completely fair, Davey, but I'm going to ask you the same thing you asked about the defensive coordinator. How many teams do you think come out and actually reach their potential in conference games? Like a lot of times you are going to play a B-plus game. You are going to have to win when things go wrong. Like very, very rarely do you come out and not make mistakes. Very, very rarely, especially on the road or in just a conference game, like you're going to have to overcome some adversity most of the time.
Yeah. No, that's very fair.
Like A&M, didn't look good against Utah State. They survived against Notre Dame, but like against Auburn, it was 16-10. Like, Florida, it's kind of a bloodbath. Like none of those teams at the top. We talked about Ole Miss. Like they didn't look good against Kentucky. But, like, Alabama, we know them. Like, we talked about Vandy. They could have lost today against Missouri. Like, a lot of these teams are just having to just win.
No, and that's the thing. Go ahead, Bear.
I was just going to say, the 2 teams that have looked the best week in and week out, I hate to say it, it's Indiana and Ohio State. They've been the most consistent so far.
Ohio State looks awesome, and, yeah, Indiana's much improved. Like, they're a legitimate threat.
I did not think, John, that they were going to be able to go into odds and come out with a victory.
No, but I did like them to keep it close. I did like them at 7.5. I didn't think they'd win, but like they're not the same Indiana they were last year, which was like scheduled Tigers. They beefed up that interior, they beefed up that line, and I think
they got a really good receiver.
They got a first-round defensive back too, like a first-round corner, and I think that Kurt Cignetti is just a motherfucker. Like I just think he's that guy. Like and.
Would he scare you in the SEC?
He'd scare me anyway. He scares me at Indiana. He's turned Indiana into a threat. Hell yeah. If you went to Florida, I think the whole world should be scared.
He's currently 65. I don't know if he's looking to go anywhere else.
I agree, but like I think, what do you think his goal is? Like, do you think his goal is to win a national championship? Because I think if I'm him, I could be like, hey, Florida, Penn State, I could win a national championship there. I'm most likely not going to win one at Indiana, but I could win one of these other places.
Real quick, I don't know that he can get enough players in to compete in the Final Four at Indiana.
No, sure.
I know Florida's situation is pretty rough. I was told they had boosters back channeling, asking Cignetti if he would leave for that job last year, and he said no.
Huh.
We talked about Vitello earlier. Maybe Cignetti kind of has that same thing of like, hey, Indiana's
the man here.
That plus they're the team that gave me a chance. Like, I believe in loyalty, and I can win anywhere because I'm Kurt Cignetti, and this team gave me a shot. I'm not going to run. Now we'll see if somebody actually comes and starts throwing around, $10, $12, or $13 million.
And I'll say this, you look at it, Indiana, they got some people with money. You get Mark Cuban to pony up a little bit more.
Sure.
I could argue right now you have a better chance of winning a national championship at Indiana than you do Florida when you look at the competition level from the SEC compared to the Big Ten. Because when I look at the Big Ten, I only see 4 teams that could actually make a run at that. When I look at the SEC, there's 7 teams that I could come up with that I think would legitimately be in play for winning a national championship whenever I look at the money that they have at their disposal.
Yeah, all I was saying was, and we saw it happen to us last year when we went to play Ohio State, we did not have enough, for lack of a better phrase, we didn't have enough bullets. We didn't have the same we didn't have the same ammunition that Ohio State had. They had a lot more talent. It just, when you get in the playoffs, that's, that comes into play.
Well, then we learned that nobody in the country had enough bullets to go up against Ohio State.
We're the sad sacks that drew them first.
And I do think another thing we're going to continue to see as we progress into this season, once injuries really become a factor, it'll be like the NFL in that you don't have that deep of a roster with the transfer portal NIL era being what it is.
Well, Davey, I think we're already there, which is why in the NFL, outside of the gambling aspect of it, in the NFL, you usually don't apologize for wins.
No, and I'm not saying you need to apologize, but it's like
you usually just take a win and say, hey, like that's good. Like,
yes. And that's been a thing I've really been on, John, for the last several years, where it's like we're going to get to that point to where you're just trying to survive and advance each week.
Yep.
And while I'm happy we are getting these wins, I'm still seeing those areas where it's like, man, like if you improve right there, you're really cleaning up a whole lot on all three facets of the game. And you're just going to put yourself in an even better position whenever the committee's looking at your overall resume. Because again, it's not like the NFL where it's like you just play the game in front of you and you win, you're good. I mean, there's a committee that's viewing these wins, the strength of schedule, the records you have as a whole. There's so many different factors that go into it. It's so much more subjective than it is at the NFL level. And that's where it's like, I just want to see these things cleaned up because I know that could come back to haunt you later on, even if you are squeaking out the W.
Yeah, you're right. Because if you're looking at just from a playoff standpoint, 10-2 gets you in the playoffs, but last year 10-2 got you slotted to where you had to go on the road to Ohio State. And maybe if you had looked a little bit better in some of your games, maybe you would have jumped Penn State. Maybe you would have jumped Ohio State and had that game at home. Let's go back to the phone lines, 865-966-3435. Let's grab Ryan. Ryan, thanks for joining the show. The floor is yours.
Big John Reed, how are you, brother?
What's up, my man? How are you?
Not too bad. Did Cody get into the game today?
I don't know. I saw a picture of Cody tailgating. I don't know if he made it in or not.
I'm assuming he did. He had a ticket. He offered me a ticket last night.
He had a ticket, but we just don't know. You know how Cody is. Who knows what could have happened to him between him showing up the tailgate and having to make that big, long walk.
It was just sad listening to Talk Sports Hour 3, just begging to get in.
Please. But no, he did find tickets. He did buy tickets.
Okay, sweet. Well, I was just going to point out, I know you guys are keeping up with the Auburn-Georgia game. It just kind of feels like Georgia is kind of becoming the 2010s Florida for us, right? Like we feel like we're like everybody's getting their shot to just beat them up after they play us.
They're going to go 9-3, maybe 8-4, and we're going to sit there and think, man, one of those should have been us.
I just can't stop thinking about the field goal. And then Max Gilbert hit one today. Was that a 50-yarder that he hit? Where he hit it. He drilled it.
He hit it. It would have been good from 63 or 64. Like he absolutely smoked that thing. That's funny that you thought that when you saw the Max Gilbert kick. I thought that, Ryan, when I saw the play action. Wow, Miles Kitselman's wide open across the middle of the field. We should have ran that, at the end of the game instead of settling for the long field goal when we just ran the ball 3 times to kick.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been the perfect play call instead of doing 3 straight runs after you got the fumble recovery against Georgia. Like, that's all I could think about. And even on the 3rd and 3 tonight where we run it again, get stopped, they get it back and cut it to 3. I was just thinking just slip Kitselman into the flat. I mean, it would have been there.
Wide open.
Like. Kitselman, I will say Kitselman had several. He's had the dropsies this year so far. He had some big catches tonight, but then he had a couple that he shouldn't have.
He had one like borderline amazing one early in the game where it looked like the ball was like 5 yards out of bounds and he caught it over his shoulder running.
Yeah.
It was like a 5-yard catch, but I was like, whoa, how the hell did he catch that?
But it's mad he'll do that, but then Joey hit him like right in the gut with one that would have been a huge.
It was about 3rd and 20, and we would have gotten a shorter field goal range, maybe in range to kick, maybe to go for it. I don't think they would have, but he dropped it.
Fozzie even said, he goes, you can't. He's already done him a favor because he didn't lead him out. He put it in his stomach, so he's not going to get killed by the DB. You got to make that catch.
Yep.
Do we have any update on Staley?
He was back in the game at the end.
Josh Heupel also came out, Ryan, real quick, and said that Deshaun Bishop, they don't expect that to be a long-term injury. Now, not being a long-term injury versus playing next week, obviously there's a lot of wiggle room there, but it does seem like Deshaun Bishop avoided, a broken bone or an ACL or anything like that. So there's your injury updates.
That's good. It feels like both us and Bama are going to go into next week without our RB1s, right? Because I think Jam Miller also, he got hurt I think it was a concussion.
Yeah, man. I am very skeptical that he doesn't play.
So you said, Davey, I heard you say he had full on like the fencing posture thing going on.
He did. Like him and Meadows, like both when they got hit, like they went, you could tell like they lost
Stiff.
all control.
And they damn near carried him. Like they had to basically carry him off the field. Like they took him straight back to the locker room, like, and basically had to prop him up. Like it was
like,
bad.
It's like there's no way he plays next week if this is the NFL. But again, we don't have the NFL concussion protocol in college, and I can
Why
see
the hell
them.
not? I wonder why not?
It's one of those things. I mean, you probably have to get multiple conferences to agree to it, and with the money at play, even though it is the health and safety of the players, they think we need these kids back out there.
The problem I would say,
out there.
the problem I would say, Bear, is that the NCAA does it. The NCAA, like David said, just leaves it to the conferences. And until
There's
the big
no collective bargaining,
right? Until the Big Ten does it, the SEC ain't gonna do it, and like
We're
like
right
they're
back
just gonna
to
play chicken.
it always ends up, John, back at the solution to almost all of college sports problems is collective bargaining.
Have a commissioner, be collectively bargain, do all that, and you could have some.
Everybody
uniform
knows
rules.
the rules.
It would be a situation like when you look now, and they did this starting last year, but the SEC implemented a injury report being released. Well, that only happens during conference games. So it's not like that's going to be something that is impacted when Tennessee plays insert out of conference foe here.
Also, just one more thing. Joey Aguilar confirmed that he just got the wind knocked out of him in the final 2 minutes.
He landed on that is one of the worst feelings in the world. If you've ever had it happen to you, when you fall directly on a football with your gut.
Ron, anything else, brother?
I was going to ask. I didn't get to watch like hardly any of the game today, but was that Oklahoma Texas score as bad? Like viewing it as it looks.
It was. I would say it wasn't as big of a beatdown, but like Oklahoma's offense looked like fucking trash. There was a punt return that made it from 13-6 to 20-6. So like Texas didn't necessarily light the world on fire. Their offense didn't look good either. But yeah, Oklahoma's offense was terrible. Mateer, I don't know if they rushed him back or if he just wasn't that good. But they got no run game, and he's not going to be able to like hold up doing everything for them. He can't be Superman. And then also there's probably the fact that like Oklahoma got to beat up on Michigan in Underwood's first real start,
right?
And got to beat up on Auburn, who maybe I can't say Auburn sucks because they're about to beat Georgia, but you know what I mean. Like maybe we overrated Oklahoma. Maybe they weren't actually very good.
It's feeling like I mean, beat Alabama, and you're just kind of playing with house money there. Down the stretch, like you can. I mean, you're just
got a
splitting
mulligan.
Oklahoma or Florida.
You still got your mulligan.
If you can win that game against Alabama, the whole season changes. Ryan, appreciate the phone call, brother. We're gonna keep it rolling. Let's go to Brad. Brad's in Nashville. What's up, Brad? Thanks for joining the show. The floor is yours.
Gentlemen, how you doing?
I'm doing good, brother.
On this victorious evening that still tastes sour, but man, I'll take it.
We're drinking from the keg of glory.
For real. Like I remember when we were lost games at Georgia State and Wyoming at home for homecoming. So bitching about a win is where you want to be.
Winning feels better than losing.
For real. But as far as apologizing for NFL wins, the Titans win last week. They should apologize for that one. That was disgusting.
No, they should have made the Cardinals fold their franchise is what they should have done. The
Titans didn't win. The Cardinals lost.
Well, look, the Titans, look, I'm not going to apologize for the win because they hadn't won in like 310 damn days. So, like, no, I felt great. That win against the Cardinals might as well have been the damn Super Bowl as far as I was concerned because I just sit there and watch Cam Ward highlights all week, and I'm actually now looking forward to the game against the Raiders tomorrow. That's how much it meant to me.
While I'm glad Tennessee, while I still want Brian Callahan fired, I am glad to see the Titans cannot go 0-17 because that was on the table.
It absolutely was. I felt like I just walked out of a good comedy show after that game was over. I felt good about it, but
cue up Benny Hill.
But yeah, hopefully Bishop is back for next week and the ankle doesn't just tighten up on him and it's a bad sprain and they see tomorrow when it swells up or whatever. We got out of there, no major significant injuries. Do we know why Sampson, the 5-star best right tackle we have was out tonight? Is it just the same thing to flare it up again, I guess?
Oh, no, Sanders played. They just rotated him and Perry out.
Oh hell, no, my bad. I thought I saw somewhere where he was out. Anyway.
No, he played, but like David said, he just didn't start.
Yeah. Okay. But God, guys, I'll take it. They beat us 4 times in a row. We haven't beat until 2007. So get that blood off the ledger. It would have been nice to cover, but the dub's what counts.
It would have been real nice to at least win by 5.5 points. That last touchdown would have been really nice if it was incomplete. They would have kicked the field goal. Me and Vols 1085 would have been eating steak like kings. Instead we're losers.
Vols 1085.
But yeah, watching with all the carnage that's been going on these past couple of weeks, I'm just glad we didn't slip up. All our goals are still in front of us. All we have to do is just, go into Tuscaloosa and win for the first time since HDTVs were invented. So, I mean, it's in the bag.
Damn it, Brad, you were making me happy. You were talking about, I was happy with the positivity. Hey, everything's right in front of us. And you were right. I was like, yes, Brad, that's my guy. I love Brad. We talk a lot of basketball together. But then you had to throw in that Alabama HD stat, and you brought me down.
We're going to beat their toothless asses. We're going to run all over their asses.
You're laughing. You don't even believe it. You can't sell me on something you don't believe, Brad.
I'll believe it when it happens.
Fair enough. Anything else, brother?
Not really. I just wanted to talk to you guys. Love what you do.
Hey.
Had a lot of fun. At least we won the damn game, and we're moving on, brothers. So let's go and let's keep winning. That's the idea.
That's the idea. Appreciate the phone call. Let's keep it moving. Let's grab Joshy Boy. Joshy Boy, welcome to the Voluntary Reaction. The floor is yours.
What's up, guys? How are you doing?
Doing good, brother. How are you?
Good, John. A win, all that matters, man. And I know a lot of people said the defense looked like shit. It did, but a win is that all that matters, guys. So, with my first question, do you guys think Jermod McCoy will be back for the Alabama game Saturday?
No
way.
No. Shit.
I mean, everybody's heard the rumors. I mean, everybody's talked about it enough around town that it's probably the rumor. He had ramped it up last week, I guess, John, to try and get ready for today, and had some significant swelling. And
oh wait, what was that? Sorry.
Supposedly, there have been rumors all over town was that he ramped up last week. They ramped him up in practice,
knee swelled up,
and then it swelled up, and then people lose their minds. But they got to keep in mind he's still only 9 months out of a complete ACL.
Well, look, man, you also got to keep in mind that he's months away from being a millionaire,
right?
Like a big time millionaire, like a first round pick, like $30 million millionaire. Like, I mean, like I will give Jermod McCoy credit. Even if he doesn't come back and play, that he did not check out. He has tried, and he could have easily quit and shut it down. He's been around the team. They're talking about how he's still around the team, how he's still practicing with the guys and in the locker room, and he's still there and connected. So, like, I hope McCoy. I hope he plays. I hope his body helps. I hope his body helps him out there. But like, he didn't quit on this team, just because he's not out there yet. So, like, I give him credit for even trying.
Yeah. So, guys, how big of a loss is it first half against Alabama next week that Spillman is going to be out?
Well, look, I don't think our safeties and I don't think our linebackers have been awesome this year. So, like, losing any of them isn't a good thing. It's how I feel, Joshy.
Yeah. So, are you guys shocked that I am too when I look at the stats that we outgained Arkansas in rushing yards?
Are we shocked that they ran for more than we did? Is that your question, Joshy Boy?
No, we outgained them, Davey, in rushing yards.
Oh, well, I mean, what was the difference?
It was marginal. It was
like 24 yards.
Both teams were pretty much close to 250 on the ground. Which
it was,
go ahead, Joshy.
Yeah, it was 264 to 240 Tennessee rushing yards.
Which, when I look at that, you're thinking, how do we let Arkansas rush for 240 yards? Like, we expect to rush that much, but like it's more that we allowed all of that than our rushing numbers.
Right. Because first half, they had like a 120, 150, right? Arkansas?
I can find those first half numbers in a second.
I mean, they were moving the ball very easily. There was one point they were averaging over 7 yards a carry.
Yeah, in the first half, it was 157 for Arkansas, 123 for us rushing yards.
Basically identical, 252 to 256 on total yards. So, I mean, it was 17-17 on the scoreboard, and it was tied on the field as well.
Yeah. So, do you guys think with Chris Brazel's one reception for 5 yards that he was basically being double teamed tonight?
He was
the
not.
reason he didn't get more looks.
No, there were several opportunities they could have taken a shot with him. I don't know why the game plan was not to get him more involved, but I felt like there were a ton of opportunities where Arkansas was just single high safety.
He's too damn good to not give him 10 targets.
He is. Yeah.
Like, you just have to kind of force feed him. Like, he might be wide receiver number 1 in the draft in a couple months. Like, he has been unguardable. And he didn't play a great game because, you know, he had the big opportunity for a touchdown and he dropped it. Like, he's got to catch that. And I think he would say the same thing. But there's no real excuse for him finishing the game with 1 catch for 5 yards. Like, Joey's got to find him. Josh has to, you know, dial up some plays for him and just make sure you get him open. Even if it's just a 7-yard out route. It's like, even if it's just like, hey, we're going to force feed him. We're going to make sure he gets this right here.
It's funny you should mention that because that was when I was in the car driving. I was listening to Mike Keith, Ramon Foster, when he had his 1 catch for 5 yards, and Ramon commented, because that's a really good thing. You got a guy that hadn't been super involved in the offense. Go ahead and intentionally get the ball in his hands. Let him, you know, get in the flow of the game.
They did it from
back to him.
They did it from Mike Matthews, Bear, because, like, you know, he hadn't really gotten the ball, and they're like, hey, here's the end around, and he had an end around where they're like, hey, we're gonna get you the ball, we're gonna get you rolling, and then you saw Mike kind of, you know, get better as the game went on after that. But I thought that was a real mistake by the offense.
Before I get to my out the door comment, guys, what is that Auburn Georgia score right now?
10-0. There's been a controversial call down on the goal line where either they robbed Auburn of a touchdown or Georgia of a 100-yard fumble return. Wow. Georgia's driving now late in the second quarter, and Gunnar Stockton just got cheap shotted.
Yeah, because when I look, Bear, Georgia was back against the wall. Auburn was like 1st and goal from the 2.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
They did the deal where they tried to reach the ball over, and
Jackson Arnold fumbled.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it, or he may have actually scored a touchdown.
That guy just can't get right.
Guys, out the door, I'm going to leave you with this. Josh Heupel walked midfield, shook hands with Bobby Petrino. He took his clipboard, he turned that summit sideways, and he stuck it straight up Bobby Petrino's candy ass.
I really don't like Bobby Petrino, but I got to say, Arkansas, like, you know, you got a chance to play spoiler next week against Texas A&M at home. You know, I hope Arkansas fans show up, and I hope you get the same effort from Arkansas that you got today. It'd be nice if they beat A&M for you.
Well, they're not easy to beat in Fayetteville, and that would be hilarious and really not that big of a surprise if they somehow pulled that off next week.
They got a chance, you know, at LSU later and home against Missouri. Like, get one of those games for us, Arkansas. Get one of those games. Help us out and, you know, help yourself out.
It was impressive that, you know, after they fired Pittman 2 weeks ago, like, and players came out and said they hated that they did this and that it was, you know, it would have been a really easy for a lot of those players to, like, kind of quit on the team and kind of, you know, half-ass it, showing up to Neyland 2 weeks later for the first game of Bobby Petrino being back in, but they didn't. Bobby Petrino found a way to get those guys to play, which is pretty impressive given the start of the season they've had and the fight they showed.
I agree with the sentiment, Walker, but look, man, like, you're in the SEC and in this transfer portal era, you're auditioning for your next teams. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
also true.
Go out there and, like, hey, like, your future might not be at Arkansas, but raise that value up, especially if you're draft eligible. Obviously, you got to play for the NFL. But hell, even the freshmen and sophomores out there, like, hey, I'm trying to get to LSU. I'm trying to get to Alabama. Hell, I'd like to be at Tennessee. I'm going to ball out here and hope they offer me in the offseason. That's what I would be thinking if I was an Arkansas player right now. Even if I didn't like Bobby Petrino, even if I hated his guts, I'm balling for my bank account.
South Carolina's keeping it close against LSU right now, 10-7. South Carolina has the ball.
There's so much parity, I feel like, this year. It's more and more. I feel like each season as we go into this next era of major college football that Anybody can beat anybody almost.
Lenora Sellers, brother, I don't understand how he let himself get in this situation with the South Carolina team. They suck. They can't block for him, and his receivers can't catch. Like,
you think he should have hit the portal
I
last
think
year?
he could have named. Yeah, I think he could have named his price anywhere in the country. Like, as good as he is, like, why would you stick around on this roster? Every play he drops back, he's running for his life, and he's doing the best he can. But like, his receivers can't catch, and they can't block.
Yeah, I mean, he's not in the best situation, but I just see so much Anthony Richardson in his game. He's just super raw, very athletic. But
We
I don't see it
made
translating.
Anthony Richardson, when I say we, Tennessee, so much fucking money. That was his best game, and he lost. But I swear to God, I think that was what gave him all the draft.
I mean, yeah, he threw for almost 400 yards. He was awesome that game. Josh Heupel, when asked about Braylon Staley's injury, quote, "He's behind me dancing and celebrating in the locker room right now. I anticipate him being fine next week at Alabama." So
I think he just may have had a stinger. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what it appeared to be. His arm looked dead, and he was grabbing at his neck. So.
yeah.
How did anybody notice David Sanders?
I mean, he was in.
Yeah, he was out there.
They're rotating him with Perry.
I mean, like, I guess the good thing about it is, like, if he got in there a decent amount and we didn't see him, that's probably a good thing if you're on the offensive line. Like, I haven't seen him in the snaps he played, but I know he didn't give up a sack. We didn't give up any sacks tonight. Seemed like, I mean, he was in every position he needed to be in.
865-966-3435 if you want to hop on. Phone line's open, Bear?
Yes.
Phone line's open if you want to weigh in. Let's check in on the chat.
First time tonight.
Over on YouTube, let's check in on the chat. 42 Elvis P. I love John Reed. Wow. Thanks, 42 Elvis P. I love you too.
Is that your mom?
No. My mom doesn't know how to work YouTube comment section. You kidding me? You kidding me? You think my mom knows how to pull up YouTube and comment? No. Anthony says, need John back on VR more, like old times. Wow, thanks, Anthony. What a guy.
ZS Vols 155. Is that Alex Jones hosting voluntary reaction?
Do I look like Alex Jones? I guess he is bald now, huh?
He did go bald.
Damn it.
That's
Alex
tough.
Jones.
They're turning the Hogs gay. They're turning the Hogs gay. Wee. What do you think they meant when they said squeal like a pig, huh? What do you think they meant, Bear?
It's good stuff.
What do you think ooh pig suey means?
Come on, Bear.
They're turning the Hogs gay.
Come on, Bear. What does it mean?
What does it mean?
You're not getting him back for another 5 minutes.
There's a lot of Banks sucks on here. I feel bad for Tim Banks. I mean,
yeah.
We had 5 sacks and had three turnovers?
Well, even if he did suck tonight, which I don't think he necessarily did, did he not get any grace with people after last year? Our defense was like top 10 in the country.
Well, no, he wasn't getting much even after the Mississippi State game when the defense scored 14 points directly.
I mean, they scored and he's down a first-round draft pick cornerback. He's also down who knows what Gibson was getting ready to do, because Gibson didn't look that bad last year. I thought Gibson was really good.
Well, yeah, at the very least, he's down his 2 starting corners. He's been down
two starting
two
corners.
of his 5 best defensive linemen, or 2 of his best 7, whatever.
Yeah,
however
after
you
he'd
wanna rank
already
them.
lost James Pierce is the first. I mean, we had
two NFL players.
Omar Norman Lott.
Yep.
Who was the other one? Interior. I mean, I don't know. I don't like. I understand it, and I know it's frustrating at times the way we play defense, but seems to get the job done. But people go crazy about Banks and Martinez.
Now, Ian in the chat says he just finds himself being frustrated because it always seems like when we have a good offense, the defense sucks, and vice versa. It's so frustrating that we can never seem to put it both together. We got peanut butter, no jelly, milk, no cereal.
Just don't have everything for the recipe.
Just can't do it all at the same time.
I know that it's harder on our defense. When our offense is really up and the Heupel offense is going, that puts your defense in a bind because you score quick and you're on the field.
You can only have one of your 10th or 11th best offensive linemen lay down on the ground and fake to be injured after an extra point so many times. You know what I mean? Like, you can only buy so much time for the defense,
Right.
After those quick offensive scores, Davey. So, like, I think Bear's right. It is damn near impossible to have both things clicking at the same time when it's that way, because if Tennessee's offense is good, they're scoring in a minute and a half, and the defense is back out on the field.
Did y'all see Dave Neal finally got wise to the –
I saw people in the chat. We were doing a live stream out there, so we didn't really have the volume up. But, yeah, people did say Dave Neal was losing his mind about it.
Yeah, he's finally picked up on it. The only one. All these other announcers are always just worried to death. It's really quite touching how much they care about the Tennessee players, and they're worried about them.
Let's take a look, see if we can find out where he got hurt.
I really do think I was one of the first people that was onto that in 2021. Like game 3 or 4, I was like, well, now wait just a minute. Wait just a damn minute what he's doing here.
I don't know which way. It was you or Russ picked up on it real early on, too.
Yeah, I want to say, hold on a second. I see this. ZS Vol says he wants to kick the money monster in the balls for that Toledo pick. Look, brother, it was 21-0.
The money monster.
It was 21-0, and I was riding high.
You were team right side. That was brutal.
I don't know if I was, because they gave up 28 unanswered points, but when it was 21-0, I was like, I'm so smart. The money is mine. And then next thing you know, yeah, we were in the poorhouse. We were in the poorhouse.
Georgia on the board with a field goal after driving 80 yards, helped out by a couple of big penalties, I believe. But
it's a ref show.
It's a stat for you. Right there with, I think there was a minute 20 when they got the ball left in the second quarter. This is the first time they've crossed midfield.
Davey, if you had to pick right now, does Georgia do the thing where they find a way to win ugly?
Yeah, I think they'll ultimately win this one, and the entire conversation will be, we were talking about, Greg Sankey let you know, like, oh, we screwed up. All indications are that was a touchdown for Auburn, and the ref should have called it a touchdown. It would then make the score 17-0. Now Georgia's at least going to be able to have it a one-possession game going into halftime. So Georgia's going to find a way to win this one on the road, and then it'll just be about how Auburn screwed again, and the conversation around should we actually fire Hugh Freeze will continue to tamp up.
It's
Auburn's
pretty
dirty as hell.
It's pretty funny because Georgia, typically finds ways to win, and Auburn typically finds ways to lose.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's a pretty good combination there for that play to happen. The only surprise is that it wasn't like in the fourth quarter. I can't believe we didn't make that damn kick. Vibes would be so much cooler if we were 6-0.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're 6-0 right now, you are probably the third-ranked team in the country.
I think people would still be bitching, though. Like, would we be still having the same conversation about Tim Banks if we were 6-0?
No.
Yes, but it wouldn't be as bad.
Fans,
It wouldn't be as bad.
But there would be some concerns there. Now, here's the question: because I'm convinced if we had lost today, I think they're just itching to vote us out of the top 25 right now.
You think we drop for this result? So, like, we're not going to drop, right?
No, we're not going to drop for this result,
right?
No.
So, I mean, what do you mean, Bear, by saying they're itching to vote us out?
If we had lost,
conspiracy theories.
If we had lost to Arkansas,
they're out to get us. John.
Ain't no sense to just be a victim all the time.
They're all Tennessee haters over there in the AP poll.
Ain't no sense
there
in being
some.
a victim all the time.
Oh, I'm sure there's some.
The skin cancer guy doesn't vote anymore. The guy that used to vote us.
Cody bullied him.
The skin cancer guy.
Well, yeah, because Cody bullied him, and then because he said he looked pasty, and then
he came back and said, "I got skin cancer."
Yeah, I've got melanoma. I don't go in the sun.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Even McClure felt bad for saying it.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Sister Jean.
Well, looking ahead to next week, Davey. Tennessee, Alabama. How realistic is it to go in there and win?
Like if you're looking for a percentage,
you can tell me whatever you think. Like, if you think they're going to be able to get it done, if you want to say a number in terms of them losing by 3, winning by 5, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I say Tennessee loses a one possession game. That's where I'm at right now.
In Alabama, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we lose by one possession.
Walker, what do you think?
I'd probably be right there with you. I mean, it really just it depends on how Bishop looks because we're going to need him. Like that's going to be a line of scrimmage game between those two. It'd be the same as between us and Georgia, where it is going to come down to Can our offensive line continue to look as good as it has? And can our defensive line, frankly, defend the run, which we didn't do against Georgia? And those are recipes for close games. I don't think Ty Simpson's going to go out there and light us up.
What do you think, John?
I think Tennessee's going to have to score points. I do think Tennessee's going to have to play better offensively. I don't think they played very good offensively against Mississippi State. Now, with that being said, if the refs don't have one of the more egregious offensive pass interference calls against Brazel, maybe it looks a little bit different. If Miles Kitzelman holds on to a ball instead of it turning into an interception, maybe that looks a little bit different. But I think they played good offensively against Mississippi State. I don't think they played good offensively tonight. I think they have to play really, really good offensively against Alabama to win that game. Here's the only way I can answer it, though, Davey, in terms of percentage or pick them to win or whatever. I believe enough to go down to Tuscaloosa.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be making the trip.
Okay.
That's huge.
Yeah, I'm going down there.
You got to go. You got to.
I'm going down there, so I believe in the boys enough to make the trip to go down there and risk putting myself in harm's way.
So, it's a bold pilgrimage you're taking next weekend. It's not going to be hostile, or that's not going to be unhostile. You're going to be in the thick of it.
I'm not saying I expect you necessarily need a Jalen Hyatt type performance to get the win, but you just need Brazel and Aguilar to have a much better connection than anything close to what you saw today.
No, Brazel's got to be a superstar. If you're going to win that game, Brazel has to be a superstar. Maybe not to the same extent he was against Georgia, but no, he's going to have to go down there and have 150 yards. Maybe it's just one of the receivers, but he's the most likely guy to have a superstar game, right? He's the most likely to dominate the game. Staley was really good tonight. Didn't do much in the second half. And that's not even really a critique, but he had 105 yards, I want to say, in the first half. And then he ends the game with 118, 109. So, he didn't really do much in the second half.
He only had one more catch.
Yeah.
By the way, updated stats on SEC's websites. Through 6 games, we have the best offense in the SEC.
In terms of points per game, yeah.
Yeah, 48.17, which is ahead of Vanderbilt and Missouri. And Alabama's defense through 6 games, there's still some results out there, but they're only the 7th best defense in the conference.
I would like to see conference in that because, you throw in a 72-point win over ETSU, that's obviously going to skew the numbers.
Yep.
But
I can get those for you real quick.
But just in the SEC, you still got to be up there. I don't know of many teams that's scoring 34 or more each and every week.
They don't have the conference stats on their own website yet.
Logan writes in, John, can you put a hat on? The glare on your head and off of your head is blinding. All right, Logan, you can go to hell. How about that? No, I'm not going to put a hat on. I got to wear these damn headphones to take the call, to talk to the boys. I don't want to have headphones and a hat on. I can turn the lights off, maybe.
What about sunglasses?
Or how about you just put some sunglasses on? Thanks, Davey. Put some sunglasses
Bobby
on.
Petrino style.
Turn the brightness down on your computer.
Look at Davey. How about that? Just focus on Davey and Walker and Bear. Don't look at me. How about that?
Well, you don't need to look at Bear.
Do you think Bobby still has the sunglasses on?
No, surely not. But he was going to ride them out. He was going to ride them out the entire time. He wasn't taking those sunglasses off.
That was crazy. It was nothing. It was pitch black outside the stadium, and he still was rocking the sunglasses down 17.
Sam says he was at the game, would grade it out at a 7.5. Hopefully that was not 100. Hopefully that was a 75.
7.5. Yeah.
What do we?
Heupel has turned into Fulmer and Banks is wavy chavy. Very frustrating game to attend. Have we gotten any reports on the atmosphere inside?
No, I was just about to ask that because every comment I've seen so far this year is just that it seems to be turning into a wine and cheese crowd, and that kneeling loud isn't exactly a thing anymore.
I think this game was just hard from the get-go. I think the opponent wasn't great. The excitement wasn't necessarily there heading into the week. And then Davey, they went on a 75-yard drive to start the game and really kind of take the air out of the stadium. So Cheese and Wine crowd, I know that's a popular thing to blame, but I just thought Tennessee couldn't really get any key stops or key plays to really bring the place to life until the end of the third quarter, which ZS Vols 155 says 2 defensive touchdowns against Mississippi State, 3 fumbles tonight. The negativity comes from realizing how we needed lucky bounces to beat these less talented conference teams. Do you look at turnovers as lucky bounces? Because I do think there's some stats out there that says, like, hey, fumble recoveries are kind of a 50-50 proposition just with, where guys are at and whatnot. But, like, I do think there's a skill to making your opponent put the ball on the turf. And, like, you made them put the ball on the turf, 4 times tonight?
Yeah, I would say when you let's take the plays individually. I feel like those were true forced fumbles.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, oh, they ran into their own guy and he knocked it out. Like a butt fumble type thing. Shout out Mark Sanchez.
No shout out to Mark Sanchez. He's a bad guy.
Bad guy.
I disavow. No shout out to Mark Sanchez after what he did to that old ass delivery driver. No.
Old ass.
That's from Davey. That shout out's from Davey, not me or Walker. No shout out.
None.
But yeah, your defense is going out there and making those plays. So you get credit for that.
And one more time that Arkansas was able to recover. Like, there was another forced fumble that Green kind of was lucky to kind of rip away, but you made them put the ball on the ground a lot.
And that's just the way we play on defensive line is we're always aggressive and going for a sack on defense. They're always going for the ball on those tackles, and that's partly why we're able to force those fumbles, and also partly why Taylon Green was able to scramble all over the place, is because our front seven, they're heat-seeking missiles, and if you just sidestep them to the right, they'll miss the tackle, and Taylon Green will rush for 10 yards.
That was frustrating tonight. Do you chalk that up to coaching or just players losing their mind when they see a sack opportunity? Because on one of them, I thought it was a perfectly called blitz up the middle. You were going to knock them out of field goal range. You were going to push them back to the 50, and your outside guys got too far in, and he was able to get around. Walker, was that coaching or bad playing in your opinion?
I mean, that's more on the players. They tackle every day in practice. I'm sure that, coaches look at this like that's not how you're tackling in practice. Like, you're not supposed to be diving at these guys' legs.
You're not supposed to get caught down inside.
Yeah, like hold your contain. Like, you got to hold your contain. I get it. You're in the middle of the game, 100,000 people watching, more live, but like, be disciplined and don't just run straight at one of the shiftiest quarterbacks in NCAA. Which that's everyone knew this. What Taylon Green was gonna do is he's a shifty guy, and the only way they were gonna have a chance in this game is if he made plays like he did tonight, where he just gets out of pressure after pressure after pressure.
865-966-3435 if you want to weigh in. Shout out to you guys if you're listening on the Fan Run app. For the people that made the switch over to us at YouTube, we appreciate you watching and all the comments.
Is it the Freaks on YouTube? Is that what we've been?
Well, that's kind of a Talk Sports thing. The Freaks are mine on Talk Sports.
The Freaks are yours?
Yeah, as far as I know. But
I don't know. We had appropriated them onto the drive.
Well, that checks out the same way you did my headlines and all that other stuff.
Yeah, you and Cody McCoy invented the sports update at the top of every hour.
You didn't do it till we did it.
I don't know.
Let's bring Jamie on. Jamie, welcome to the show. The floor is yours.
What's going on, John, Davey?
Good to hear from you, Jamie.
John, let me just say, dude, I really enjoyed watching you guys being on with y'all during the game, man. I hope y'all do that some more. That was really cool.
Good deal. I appreciate that. We're definitely going to do it again. I just don't know when, but I appreciate the feedback for sure.
Absolutely, dude. I encourage other Fan Run listeners to call in and make sure you guys know that was pretty cool, man. I was riding all the highs and lows with you, and it felt like we was at a watch party. So yeah, hopefully we'll see it again. Guys, I don't, it is what it is. I just you said a couple times tonight, John, that we hope that we learn from some of the mistakes, and I just don't know if that's in Heupel's DNA. I just see, it's the undisciplined, way too many penalties, not taking care of home field advantage, not using, there's a lot of things that I've been saying to the other fellas for a while now about Heupel. I love him as an offensive mind, top 5 in the country, but man, his head coaching is just ridiculous.
Jamie,
just poor.
What was the most egregious thing you saw today?
Well, before I get on the negative, I will say I did appreciate there at the end of the game how we kind of run the play clock down there towards the end, and I thought that was my biggest thing, Davey, and it's probably not going to be the same as yours, but one of my pet peeves was watching at the end of the first half, watching Aguilar slowly roll around in the pocket when there was no time to do that, and then run all the way out of bounds. And I'm thinking, dude, somebody coach this kid up. You're too talented not to know. It's faster to just toss it out of bounds right there and save 1 or 2 of the precious seconds we have left if we're going to do something with it. But I don't know. What do you think, Davey?
I'm trying to recall how that final drive ended at the end of the first half. I do remember looking over to John and being like, all right, if you run the ball here, even if it comes down to it, you should have an opportunity for a Hail Mary, even if it's 4th down. But I don't remember exactly how that played itself out. My big thing is just, looking at the way in which you have some of these unnecessary penalties.
Well, you're talking about unnecessary penalties, Davey, not to cut you off, but that's how the first half ended. If you remember, you had the 32-yard run to midfield. You're up on the ball, trying to go fast. Boom, false start. Then there was the 10-second run off, and it took you out of momentum, and then you couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah, you look at some of those penalties where you're trying to move fast, and have we seen an SEC play this year? I know Georgia didn't have a false start. Arkansas didn't have one. I'm trying to even remember if Mississippi State had a false start. You're not able to, your team has a lot of those moments, but you're not able to create those for the other team.
Well, to piggyback off that, Davey, a lot of times when it's 4th and short and we get up to the line, I'm like, dude, try to pull them off. We did that successfully, but for some reason our center stood up with the ball out in front of him. I've never seen anything like that, dude. What they called us on the snap infraction.
Yeah.
Did you see how the center just stood up with the ball out in front of him for some? I don't get that.
He did, but I still thought, and we weren't able to hear everything as it was going on. I still thought, based off the rules, because the guy was in the neutral zone and it caused the guy opposite him, I can't remember if it was our right guard or right tackle, to then move. It should be a offsides penalty, regardless of if our center stands up in that moment, thinking the play's already dead.
Yeah, especially, Davey, I'm with you, because the moment the offensive lineman moves, the play is dead, and it looked like our guard moved before the center did that.
I agree with you.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So anyway,
no, on the time stuff, Jamie, because I know that's where that's your bread and butter. I think this is a problem in college and the NFL. These guys, you want to talk about just getting repetitions, and I don't think these guys are actually sitting in simulators and being like, all right, let's take the time out here, or we're just trusting the guys in the booth as far as the analytics, because I still see a lot of guys go with the old school mentality as far as when they're electing to use these timeouts. But again, I was a kid that grew up playing Madden, NCAA football, and I probably played thousands and thousands of games to where I have in my, people are going to say this is crazy, I have more experience in those moments than most head coaches in college and the NFL.
Right.
And people are going to say that's ridiculous, but it's no, you talk about practice makes perfect. I don't think these guys are sitting in these moments and having this happen to where you see this happen. Now, there are some coaches that I think are great at it. Sean McVay being at the top. But, not everyone's going to be a Super Bowl winning head coach like Sean McVay. And so I get frustrated whenever you see this happen. And I know there are so many other things happening on the field while this is going on, but it's such a critical part of the game. Hit the Butch Jones. It's critical. That there shouldn't be any error for this to happen when you have the amount of people on staff at your disposal and the opportunities you can have to work on this. Whenever you just have games that have been created for the last 25 years, you can go and play and you learn how the numbers will shake themselves out in those moments.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like what I led off my call with. It's I don't see him getting, I see him plateauing as a head coach. And it's just like, man, I wish he would just, step back and look at what, he could be he's so close to being elite. So close. His offensive schemes are ridiculous. I've been saying it for a few. If he seriously wants to compete for championships, you need to go out and get a killer like Rodney Garner to coordinate the whole damn thing. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna get out of the way. And like I said, man, I hope to see some more of that watch party. That was really fun. And I'll say this: next week, man, if we can put the offense together like I've seen, it might make for an interesting game. Because crazier things have happened. Y'all hang in there, guys.
Appreciate the phone call, Jamie. 865-966-3435.
You about gave the old number, didn't you?
I about did, but it got me. I don't ever really have to give it out on Talk Sports, so it's always have to stop and think. The real key is I remember the SM Athletics number, and then I have to stop and think, wait, are we 34-34, 34-35? Because they're right there next to each other.
I only know the 546.
Yeah, that about got me. I was like, nope, that's not right. But yeah, keep the phone calls rolling, because the moment the phone calls stop, I'm pulling the plug on it and going to watch football. I feel like we've exhausted everything we need to say. Davey's got stuff he'll be doing this week at Outkick. Bear, Walker, and I will be doing stuff all week talking about this game. Hell, we did a watch along for 4 hours. Most of the stuff I've got to say, I've said. So we're here for you. So if you want to keep the show going, hit the phone lines. Now's the time.
And like I will say, like, this Alabama team, they're not a Nick Saban Alabama team. Like, they have their flaws.
They're gettable.
It's just, can you go on the road, which has been a big thing in the Josh Heupel era, and everybody's like, well, you beat Mississippi State. It's like Mississippi State last year was one of the worst teams in the league. It is great that you were able to go down there and get that win, but it is going to be a completely different environment. You're not going to have an entire side of the stadium be orange and white like you did at Mississippi State come next Saturday. Night game, those toothless, slack-jawed yokels, they're going to be really boozed up. It's going to be loud. Can you handle that environment? It is unlike anything this team has seen so far this season. So a lot of question marks there. But again, they're gettable, as you said, Walker.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm expecting a good game. I would love to finally snap the streak, but we shall see.
So, David, do you subscribe to the Josh Heupel on the road narrative, and you don't have confidence in him on the road? Because I personally feel like that's a little overblown. Like, even, look, I know the Arkansas game last year was bad. That's definitely a big black eye. Like, I thought that Florida in 23 was bad. I thought, looking at, 22 South Carolina, those are bad. But, like, to me, those are really the only ones that stand out. There's just as much good as bad. When you look at Missouri in 21, you look at, 22 LSU, you look at Oklahoma last year. That, to me, there's just as much good as bad.
Well, it's not he's going to lose every game on the road mentality. I just always think there's that one game where it is just a complete dud. And a lot of people were saying, well, maybe, the team just performed bad against Mississippi State and you got that out of the way and you were fortunate enough to sneak away with the win there. That very well could be the case. But I just, I look at Alabama, I look at Florida. Like, I feel confident we'll go up to Kentucky and win, because the only time we fire a coach, or the only time we lose to Kentucky, is when we're about to fire a coach.
When have we came out flat in big road games, though? Like
big road games?
Yeah, like, because I feel like, because
Florida a couple years ago.
I wouldn't say we came out flat. I felt like you're talking about 22 Georgia.
No, he said Florida. Florida 23.
Florida 23, I think there was a lot of stuff. I don't think we'll probably ever really know what all was really going on behind the scenes over there. I felt like Georgia 22.
You didn't come out flat, in my opinion. You came out and got on the board. It's just they broke your back with, like, one of the best punts ever out the 1 yard line, and you're
hostile and wet, and it was starting to rain, and
your defensive backs couldn't guard Lad McConkey and Brock Bowers. I mean, like, that sucks, but it is what it is. But, like, I thought last year the problem wasn't coming out flat against Georgia. You came out and jumped out to a 10-point lead twice. It was 10-0. It was 17-7. You weren't flat in that game. No. Alabama in 23, you weren't flat. You came out and should have been up 27-7. I just kind of think that the road stuff's a little overblown, and I do think typically we play well in big games on the road. Oklahoma last year, that was billed as a big game. You came out and you dominated that first half to the point where you could coast and maybe create some of your problems that derailed that team, or at least cost you the Arkansas game, and had you in a dogfight against Florida, because you realized your defense could shut people down. Your offense didn't have to do much.
Did you guys felt like we came out flat today, though?
I don't think we came out flat today because we scored on our first possession. I think we couldn't stop them early, but like I didn't think it was necessarily an effort issue. Did you? Did you think it was flat?
No, I just thought it just came down to the fact I was a little surprised. Arkansas won the toss. They wanted the ball. I think that Bobby Petrino obviously saw some things on film that he could exploit before we had a chance to make adjustments to it. And that's why he took the ball first. But I felt like we had good effort. It was just a strange game. I mean, they had the ball for like 2/3 of the first half.
Very first play of the game was a sack. Like it wasn't like a big back-breaking sack. It was only a 3-yard sack, but Tennessee sacked, Taylor Green on the first play.
They did most of their damage to us tonight on 3rd and +6 to
It's
go.
just third down.
Third down, but if you look at especially like somebody's joking around on Twitter, they felt better about stopping them on 3rd and 2 than they did on 3rd and 23.
Yeah. Taylor Green was a problem. And just the very first drive, very first series, like you were close. It was 3rd and 6. They basically pick up 5.5 yards. They go for that 4th down. Like if it was maybe a yard further back, maybe you get that first stop and the game goes completely differently. But the moment they picked up that 4th down, you knew, okay, well, they're going to ride this to a touchdown. And yep, they sure did. David, did you think effort was an issue tonight? Because I didn't think effort was an issue at all.
No, I just think with the way in which, like, I don't think we have the best linebackers and then safeties on top of that. And I just think, whenever they were able to get to the second level, they were going to be able to take advantage of us. And offensively, like I thought the effort was there. I just thought you just couldn't convert in a couple of situations where it's like, typically it's like, yeah, we actually see them coming away with some points there. I just thought it was very odd not being able to capitalize after those turnovers, where that's generally been a spot you've seen Heupel's teams come out and perform very well. So, but I guess part of that's just credit to Arkansas for forcing the stop there.
Ohio State last year.
Yeah.
But did we come out flat or we just came out and just got ass mowed by a significantly better team? Damn, Nico, that was the first series. It was in the first quarter when Nico broke his first helmet, wasn't it?
I still would have liked to have seen how that game goes if you get that 3rd down stop to start the game, because the boys came out on fire.
They did.
And it was 3rd down. You're like, let's go. And then they pick up that 1st down, and then it was
Katie barred the door.
Yep.
You
were boat race at that point. So I will cede that one to you, Joshua, Ohio State. But like typically, I don't think Josh Heupel's as bad on the road as everyone acts.
I mean, Adam Spark, we had him on, and Adam did a like analytics breakdown of Heupel on the road and stuff, and he says it's, according to him, Adam says it's
basically just behind Alabama and Georgia, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's just and it's not accurate.
The South Carolina one stands out, but it's funny because I think a lot of the people that probably think that Josh Heupel is bad on the road also probably thinks that South Carolina was cheating that game.
Oh, Cockgate!
Don't get Bear started, John.
They were absolutely cheating. What am I supposed to believe, John?
I don't want to get into it, Bear. I've heard the sides.
Nope, I
don't want to hear it.
2 games. You brought it up, my friend.
No, I'm just saying.
2 games where they looked unbelievable against us and against Clemson, who Michigan needed both of us to lose, John Reed. Both of us.
Well, what I would say is that if you think that South Carolina was cheating, you can't also point out and say Heupel, that's a red flag or a black mark on his road resume, because he was getting cheated.
It's just simple fact, Cockgate.
All right, last call for phone calls, 865-966-3435. No reason to keep the boys here. We've given them two really solid, really good hours. We gave them 5 really good hours on the watch along
content.
Yeah, I've been here since 3:30 firing these boys up. So
it's good stuff.
Last call. Walker don't need to be here no longer. Hell, a guy works hard enough as it is. I ain't gonna keep him here till 11.
I think one of the things that I'd be looking for in this game, I can't find the stat anywhere. It'll probably be in the later breakdown. What our average yards per play are on 1st and 2nd down. Because 3rd down, obviously we all know how 3rd down looked. I have 9.5 yards on each 3rd down. Yards per play weren't there, but I wonder what those numbers are going to look like on 1st and 2nd down. I think those will be able to tell a lot more about what our 3rd down problem is.
I'd also just love to see it. It feels just like you can you can really tell how Tennessee's drive is going to go just on the very first play of the drive. If they pick up 6 yards on the first play or more, we're probably going to score a touchdown.
That I'm glad you brought. That's something I meant to mention about why I like Deshaun Bishop so much. He keeps us ahead of the sticks. He keeps us in favorable down and distance because he rips off. He's those 4 to 6 yard runs on first down are perfect.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. John, and you and Ryan made a good point on the stream while we were watching it.
I appreciate that. Thank
about
you.
how our offense really doesn't work if we're not on schedule. It feels like it's a lot more than other teams. If we have a bad play on first and second down, we really struggle to adjust it with the way our offense works.
I think that's why our third down numbers are so bad
Exactly.
today.
That's just part of it.
All right, Davey, final thoughts. It was good doing a show with you.
I know it's been a minute. Probably like 2017 or so.
That's what I was asking John.
I'd say 2019. You're still doing
before COVID.
I stopped voluntary action on the football that COVID year. That's when my pops passed, and I kind of took that season off, and then you were gone. But so it was nice to sit here with you and do the show. I enjoyed hanging out with you.
It was a lot of fun, man, and glad that we were able to get the W. I think you look at Tennessee right now; it's a situation where we're still talking playoffs. We're right in the mix with everyone else. I feel good for Tennessee's chances the rest of the season. And if you are able to go down to Tuscaloosa, get that monkey off your back, get the dub, I mean, you're in the driver's seat. And one of the things, I started the show off by saying is that each game in the SEC, I still feel like there's just so much more meat on the bone that Tennessee can have, that whenever the guys are in practice, they're in film study this week, they're going to see those opportunities, and hopefully they're able to continue to sharpen up. I am curious, though, on an injury front for both sides, what that looks like, because I do think that's going to play a huge factor in how that game ultimately shakes out. But right now, you got to be happy that you're sitting at 5-1, and you are going into what very well could be have a top 10 ranking come this weekend or after this weekend.
Do you want to go on record with a prediction for Tennessee, Alabama? It's early, and the injury report is going to matter.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think right now I would lean Alabama 35, Tennessee 31.
Okay. Bear Walker, your final thoughts on this voluntary action. Appreciate you guys hanging out, letting me hang out with you.
I want to be wrong.
Well, I hope you're not rooting for Alabama, Davey. I hope you're not that big of a damn narcissist that you'd rather Alabama win 35-31 than the Vols get that touchdown at the end to win 38-35.
I just hope everyone gets their frustration with tonight's game and accept that we won and wake up tomorrow and realize we have Bama in 6 days. And that's what we should care about, not this game after tonight. Because we won, wasn't pretty. No SEC game is pretty. But we got Bama next week.
Bear?
Survive and advance. We control our own destiny. We just got to keep winning games, man. I think, I don't expect us to go to Tuscaloosa and win. I do expect us to go down there and not come out flat and to just, give your all for Tennessee and just leave it all out on the field. I mean, not to sound too cliched, but just I'm looking for solid effort next week, and we'll just watch chips fall.
I like the positivity that we're ending with. And look, maybe they'll call us sunshine pumpers or whatever. But Bear, when you said that just triggered some emotion in me, because I do think it's important this week to remember two things that both of you said. One, we won. We won an SEC game. We did not lose. Was it always impressive? No. But two, it kind of echoes what Bear and Davey said. You're going into this Alabama game with a chance to win.
We're 5-1.
But I mean, a chance to win. Don't take for granted that, a lot of the times when you were headed to Alabama in recent memory, you ain't really thought you had a chance to win. I do think it's important to just note things aren't as bad as they were for the defense in the fourth quarter. That feeling you had watching that fourth quarter, things are pretty good around here right now. The team's pretty good. There's a lot of talent on the field. They're going into this Alabama game, without a real talent deficiency. Now, look, don't get me wrong. Alabama's still more talented than you. Check the recruiting rankings, all that stuff. But, they don't have aliens that make you look like you're not even playing the same sport.
Derrick Henry's not there,
Right.
Yeah.
Like for a while, like you went up against Alabama, you're like, well, there's zero chance we're winning this game. None of our players would start on Alabama.
They might put Caden Proctor at running back.
Let's say Proctor.
That's a gimmick.
He's a freak, but hey, David Sanders is pretty damn good too. Lance Hurt's pretty damn good too. Like you have your own 5-star offensive lineman. So like I said, like I want to apologize to anyone who may be upset by me not being a doom and gloomer tonight, because
there's no reason to be doom and gloom.
I look forward to the week of actually thinking you could go down there and beat Alabama, and even if you don't, thinking you still have a chance of making the playoff.
It is never far from my mind right now, and this makes me a sunshine pumper, John, then so be it. But especially the three of us, me and you and Davey, when us and all the other fellas, we started off on this whole fan run journey almost 10 years ago now.
We fucking sucked.
It was horrible.
We sucked.
And we put in
awful.
the bloods, the sweats, the tears during all the shitty years.
But I think
all the damage to my liver.
I think that's part of the frustration with me is because, look, I know I haven't been on voluntary reaction much, over the last handful of years. But when I used to do it, all we did was bitch, but that's because we sucked.
Yeah.
It was a little jarring to see that we're still bitching after wins. Like, I was just like,
I mean,
we're a lot better than we used to be.
Yeah. Now we're entering into that. Like, it's almost like the Georgia fans got with Mark Richt, and I'm still back here. Hey, man, we're in contention for 10 wins. And the big change is because I really do feel like if you're in the SEC, if you win 10 games, you're going to make the playoffs.
And listen, I don't think we've not reached the mountaintop with Josh Heupel. I truly believe that. Some people can push back, but I also, you constantly reset your expectations, but I didn't think we would be in this position before the season started. I didn't think Joey Aguilar would be coming in here. And I mean, he's probably not leading the conference in passing after tonight, but I mean, he's up there. And, that was a guy that's in conversation for the Heisman Award. You're talking about Chris Brazzell being in contention for the Blitnikoff Award. That wasn't something that we thought would even be remotely obtainable before the season started. So the fact, you lost to an arch rival in overtime towards the beginning of the year, but you've bounced back and you've gotten multiple wins after that. And you're going down there for another opportunity to put a loss on Kalen DeBoer's record, which he's had multiple of those since taking over in Tuscaloosa. So this is still something. I know people can be pessimistic, which, hey, that was me 10 years ago when we were doing this stuff. And, Butch Jones isn't winning an SEC game in his final season. Jeremy Pruitt's getting blown out. Guys, there was a time period.
But Butch almost broke us, didn't he?
There was a 10-year period where playing Georgia, Alabama, and Florida, Tennessee was 3-27. Just think about that. For a decade, against your three biggest rivals, you'd won 3 and lost 27. That's not even something we're thinking is like a thing now because of what this program has turned into. So I at least wanted to end on a positive note that, yes, Tennessee can absolutely go down there and get the dub next Saturday. I'm excited to see what happens.
Davey, it was a great time. Again, thank you for hanging out with us. Walker, Bear, great job on the other side of the glass. Great P team. Best P team I've had in a long time when it comes to production. And again, shout out to everybody who watched. There's some of you crazy people that have been watching us since like 3:30. Like that put on the live reaction show and then came on to the voluntary reaction.
That's why I was asking. I would think that you would describe those people lovingly as freaks.
Those people are. But again, that is show appropriation. And one more big special shout out to the Griffin Law Firm, VFL Marshall Griffin and his team of experienced military attorneys. If you or one of your loved ones needs help when it comes to those type of military instances, don't forget griffinlawdefense.com. Remain silent. Request counsel. Shout out to the Griffin Law Firm. Shout out to all of you. I'll talk to you Monday, Davey. Good to see you, brother. I'm sure I'll see you again soon.
Good point. Way to rub salt in the wound. And then Monty Giants over Saints. You mentioned it
don't
earlier.
remind me.
Not wrong, just early.
Don't remind me. That was such a frustrating
But it did
game.
not hit.
3 fumbles. All of them lost by New York. One of them returned for a touchdown. Against the Saints.
I watched the game.
I was so mad. So mad. Jackson Dart, so mad at you.